jalapeno de-seeded, and also brunoise. Season and taste with salt and a little splash.
Wait, the stream is down? It's back again. Okay, it didn't happen on my side, so this must be a Twitch thing. It's because someone said they want anchovies on their fucking pizza. That's why that happened. Twitch was just like, wait, this is horrible news. We need to get this stream under control. Let's just take it away. I'm sorry, but no. Little fucking fishies that's just super salty on your pizza. No thanks. I will rather just take my ham and pineapple pizza. Thank you very much.
Splash of extra virgin olive oil. And now we can assemble this beast. First, slice your double down sandwich in half lengthwise. Place one half with the cut side facing down on a large warmed burrito-sized tortilla. Layer on your beans, a touch of your pico, shredded cheese of your choice.
This would be so good without the beans, though.
And for extra safety, you can skewer the lip of your tortilla that sticks out down so that it doesn't open for what's about to happen next. Place your Frankenstein monster into your same fryer at 350 Fahrenheit and fry until golden brown and crispy. About 5 minutes. Remove, drain in a wire rack.
BTX, no. Why? It's the stream. You guys need to refresh. If you can't see the stream, please refresh. Can someone just write in chat for people to refresh if they can't see the stream? Because genuinely speaking, on my side, the stream is up. The session is going. The stream is going. Like you can see there, everything's fucking running. So on my side, it's going swimmingly. I also had no drops on my side, so it's just Twitch having a fucking mental breakdown.
And allow to cool for 1 minute. Then remove all your toothpicks so it doesn't look like the end of a medieval mace. Lay down a fat couple dollops of your jalapeno salsa on a
Welcome
plate.
back,
Tap the bottom
VTX.
for some Westawant Industry magic. You know, nice little flat circle of sauce. Place your chimichanga atop your sauce. Add a nice light quenelle of your sour cream, little spoonful of pico, and a few
That's
little
fine.
leaves of fresh cilantro.
Sour cream,
You know, kinda
good.
like putting makeup on something.
Whatever
from
the
a
fuck
horror
that thing is that he put on top
movie.
of
Now I
it,
guess we're
good.
just gonna have to find out how this tastes.
The avo sauce, not
didn't
good.
make this to feel proud. The question is why? I don't want to look at that. Wait, hear me out. I'm telling you, Kendrick, it's good. I know this is wrong. I hate it. I also wanted to experiment. It does not look that bad.
It's good.
Yes!
Is that what you want? The flavors strangely blend really well together. Everything about this is an abomination, but it tastes so good.
And that's what the KFC Double Down is all about. But you want to know what this is all about? B-roll.
Man, this Joshua Wiseman is just a god. This guy is just really good. But yeah, every single time we watch food shows, you guys reveal just how little you fucking know about food. All sorts of weird things like avo and anchovies and... You guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't know what's good. Did you see the Warhammer reference in the latest South Park episode? No, I did not. Link? There's too much things on something? I don't like many things on a dish. I don't mind many things on a dish. I just don't like the avo and the beans.
Dude, do you not understand? Your mom and Shelly are gone. We can do whatever we want without any stupid rules.
Whatever I want?
Yeah, dude. That's what this is all about. Let's do some spring break shit.
Can I see if any of the guys want to come over to do 40K all week?
Hell yeah, let's do some 40K. What is that?
You don't know Warhammer 40K?
Oh yeah, Warhammer 40K, of course. I'm down, let's do it.
Really? All week?
Yeah, dude, you're old enough.
Sweet, I'm gonna call Tolkien.
Okay, that has a toughness of 7 and a -1 to your hit rolls.
Okay, so that's 3, 4, 5 hits.
Okay, I'm gonna roll my saving throw, which is 3+.
What in the actual are you guys doing?
We're playing 40K.
You guys have wasted another day of spring break with this stupid shit. Do you guys know what spring break is about? Wet t-shirt contests, mud wrestling. Don't you want to get some bitches over here?
No. Why would you want to get bitches when you can play Warhammer 40K? I don't get it. I don't get the problem. Dude, South Park is just on the money. He obviously hasn't heard the lion is back. Yeah, if he knew that the lion was back, he wouldn't be talking smack right now. They just chilled and played WoW on spring break here. We don't have a spring break in South Africa, but we do have a summer break. And after, like, when you finish school, so when you turn 18, that's when you go to your first ever matric holiday, which is to say you're done with school. Now you go get drunk for a week, and boy, did I get drunk for a week. Yeah. I was drunk for almost 9 days in a row. Like, genuinely would wake up in the morning, grab the beer that I still drank last night, and just down it, and then go down to the bottle store, buy even more liquor, get back and just get drunk again. That was just every single fucking day. No, Batlin. My first ever hangover was after I turned 23. Like 2 or 3 months after I turned 23. The first ever time in my life that I got a hangover was that day, and I remember it so well because about a month after that, I stopped drinking forever. Because I had this, I woke up one morning after a massive party and I was just fucked. I couldn't believe I was so screwed. I was like, oh my God. So it took me out for like 2 days. I just felt terrible. And then a month later, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm never drinking again. This is not worth it for me anymore. And then, yeah, I just stopped drinking. After a night where I vomited all across the subway. Lunari, holy shit. A new book in his limited edition has been announced about Lionel Johnson, and the limited edition looks quite epic. "10,000 years at Adepticon, awoken into the nightmare known as Imperium Nihalis, where humanity is beset on all sides by darkness and chaos is on the rise. Even the mighty Lionel Johnson could not hope to prevail on his own in such a hostile environment. Luckily, he has allies to help him as he hunts down the forces of chaos in The Lion, Son of the Forest, the explosive new novel by Mike Brooks. Alone in Imperial Nihalis, without the Emperor, the Imperium, or his sons, the Lion faces a terrible challenge. He meets a formidable Chaos warband, led by one of his traitorous sons. He must call upon every ally he can. He'll even need to rally his fallen knights, who have been hunted across the galaxy as they awaited the day their father would return. This is your first chance to read about the Lion's exploits in the 41st millennium, and to find out exactly what the Primarch of the Dark Angels has been up to since the end of the Horus Heresy. Not just sleeping, it would seem. The Lion, Son of the Forest will be released alongside the exquisite new miniature, available in a special edition fit for the Knight of Nihalis himself, limited to just 2,000 individually numbered copies, each signed by author Mike Brooks. This edition has a sumptuous cloth cover, detailed screen print art, dark green page edges, and red ribbon page markers. Shit! I'm never going to be able to buy this, but it does look good. I failed my father. I fear I also failed my brothers. I do not wish to fail my sons. Wait, so where is Nihalis or Nihalis or however the fuck you pronounce it? What is it? Nihalis. How do you pronounce it? Where is that? Is that in the same part of space as Rabute Gilliman? It's on the other side of the rift. But then how is he ever going to be able to get to Rabute Gilliman? Can they actually travel through the rift, or is it not possible to travel through the rift? Okay, so they can actually cross. Okay. You just go lower on the galactic plane. As long as there's a place for him to cross, so we eventually see him. But I mean, I will not be able to buy the limited edition, but I will be buying this book. because I think it's going to be phenomenal. So I will be buying this book. The Lion, Son of the Forest. What a book. Oh, man. And my book is now at such a good point, dude. I'm at such a good point. I'm at the battle for Parmenio, where Rabute Gilliman is facing off against Mortarion. It's amazing. I don't know how much this will be. I don't think they've announced prices yet, but I mean, judging by the fact that there's only 2,000 of them, probably going to be like, oh my god, you're probably looking at what, $500 if not more. I don't know. Just based on what Games Workshop usually does with their fucking pricing. Like they usually go balls to the wall with this shit, and people still buy it. But Angron is going to be a bitch probably in the Lion book, because that's what Games Workshop always does. Hey, look at this epic strong character. Well, there is another character we want to hype even more. Let's have the second character beat the first one to a pulp. But in this instance, Metal Fan, it makes sense. There's no way that Angron can stand against the Lion. Just zero chance. The Cypher 1 when it comes out too. I've seen spoilers and it gets spicy. I want to get the Angron book as well. The one that now Angron is causing sort of a lot of shit with. I really want to get that. Patlin, I don't know what the pricing is for their normal sort of limited edition books. What do they normally cost, guys? Like the limited edition books that Games Workshop launches. What do you normally pay for those? Horus Heresy, the theme and background, Into the Fallen, not the greatest, but the information is wonderful. But I don't know, so far Lion, been a huge douche. Not that clever. We'll keep reading, listening to more of continued Dark Angel stuff. Demon Prince Angron would definitely have a chance. I don't think he would. To read Angron, Slave of Nasseria, the Avatar of Cain, the character which used to be beaten every time to show how strong other characters were. Hey, but that's just what it is, you know? You have to be a loyalist if you want to win in the grim darkness of the far future. I would say, if you want a good read, Benny, get yourself this. Not this exact copy, because this is the second book, but get yourself this. It's absolutely phenomenal. The Dark Imperium Plague War, and I have the Dark Imperium Godblight waiting for me. As soon as I'm done with this one, I'm immediately switching over to Godblight. This is just a phenomenal read. Farsight seems to be doing fine. Yeah, but that's the Tau. No one cares about the Tau, bro. No one gives a shit about the Tau. The Tau is just there to make the Imperium look good. So once we destroy the Imperium, once we destroy the Tau, people will go, holy shit, the Imperium is so strong. It's the only reason the Tau is there. I'm a chronological slave adherence, so at the moment at Horus Heresy books 30. Yeah, I have to get to the Horus Heresy books. I definitely have to get to the Horus Heresy books. It's a little annoying that I haven't read them yet, but hopefully I will soon. Just to show you guys what the fuck I'm looking at. Dude, I'm going to the dark recesses of YouTube looking for something to watch. About to come across some Andrew Tate videos. This is further down than I've ever been on YouTube. I never scroll down this much. I usually just refresh. So this is wild. All the stuff that's showing up now. Because now we're just diving into, like, the madness that is YouTube. The Darrell Brooks trial is funny. He's by far the stupidest person I've ever seen. Who's Darrell Brooks? Series about the Custodies and the Sister of Silence with a bit of political intrigue in one of my favorite series in the Watchers of the Throne series. Okay, so here's part 1. Here's part 2. Ooh. Grey Knights, part 2. Shall we get into it? Okay, but who is this Brooks guy? The guy who drove a truck into a parade or something like that? Ran over 40 plus people with his car at a Thanksgiving parade and decided to represent himself at court? But why did he drive over them? Did he say why, or was it just a spur of the moment thing? Oh, here's some people. Let me run over them. What bricky on the... What are you talking about, bricky? There's no bricky here. Well, I kind of gathered that he's unhinged because he drove over 40 people. So, of course he's unhinged. He was angry after he got in an argument with his girlfriend. Jesus, that must have been some argument. Let's watch this instead. The Grey Knights, Part 2. Despite the weak, pity them not. Despise the weak, pity them not. Scorn their cries of innocence. It is better that 100 innocently fall before the wrath of the Emperor than anyone kneel before the demon. I shall fear nothing, for I am what the demon fears. I genuinely have no idea. It's very loud, this. And
For many years after the early establishment of the Grey Knights, they remained still absent from any involvement during the period of scouring traitor Chaos Astartes that followed in the wake of the heresy. Titan was still missing, and instead the Grey Knights, in the fashion of the ever-reserved Nathaniel Garrow, would bide their time, strengthening their minds, training, and above all else, perfecting their skills of demon hunting and powerful psychic domination, maintaining the singular goal that when they would re-emerge, they would be ready to unleash a wave of vengeance in the name of the Emperor, the abhorrent demons.
VTX, my first army would be a toss-up between Ultramarine and Dark Angel. I'm a loyalist at heart, bro. So yeah, if I did my first ever army, it would be Ultramarine or Dark Angel.
of the warp would greatly regret their expulsions into the material realm. Also, as we well know, time in warp space is not that of time in real space, and this was why when Titan did finally re-emerge from the warp only a few standard years after its disappearance, the Grey Knights stood ready, not with a few hundred ultra-elite psychic demon hunting chaos ruining Astartes as might have been expected. Now they returned to reality with at least 1,000 of the strongest warriors created at this time. Malkador's 8 had delivered a force of unrivaled power to counter and bring down a great vengeance upon those who sought to destroy them. The Inquisition itself was also now well established by the Mortal Lords, who were also selected by Malkador and had long awaited the return of Titan and the 8 Knights. And so when it returned, they travelled to meet with Grandmaster Yanis and discuss their future cooperation, as well as to discuss and update their contemporary achievements. The Grey Knights would now quickly begin to put into practice their perfectly executed training, for many Imperial worlds would soon carry records of mythical Silver Angel warriors descending from the stars and destroying, rending, impaling and banishing creatures of their nightmares back into the darkness from whence they came. The Grey Knights fight an endless war wherever the entities and gods of the warp dare to appear, and now more than ever in the dark times of the current age, where the Grey Knights face an almost insurmountable task even by their own high standards, and as many Imperial forces find themselves stretched more thinly than ever before. They, though, are masters of psychic power, even beyond fellow Space Marine librarians, and most certainly beyond ordinary human psychers, who are just as likely to be found in a shattered mental state with their fingers embedded in their own faces, tearing their flesh off in acts of corrupted insanity, as their lack of knowledge and subsequent corruption of the warp finally takes hold, and they quickly lose all sense of reality. In distinct opposition to these uncontrolled amateur psychers, a Grey Knight, unlike almost all other humans, Astartes included, they will stare with no sense of fear or foreboding far into the abyss and see what stares back at them.
They just don't give a shit. They're training effectively because in the last part, in part 1, we learned about how their training goes. So their training effectively makes them immune to corruption, which explains why they can basically go as deep into the warp as they want, because corruption just has zero effect on them. There's nothing that can corrupt these beings.
Astartes chapters after the second founding had greatly
It would be
reduced
similar
numbers,
to a warlock,
but even by these
that
wing-clipped
can completely
standards, the Grey
embrace the
Knights still
foul.
have a comparatively minimal amount of warriors within their ranks. For the Grey Knights, though, this is of little consequence, because for them, they are the masters of all. They can take on numbers of enemy unthinkable to others, and there are few enemy who could hope to even have a moderate chance to damage or best a Grey Knight in combat. Such is their elite level of skill beyond the norm. But at the same time, this doesn't mean that they are not able to be beaten or subdued. They could be suppressed, they could be overwhelmed by sheer volume of numbers, or other tactical reasons could dictate their necessity to retreat or, even in rare cases, be captured. Now, similarly to some other mythical forces within the Imperium who are rarely seen or spoken of, the Grey Knights seem to appear usually unexpectedly and then only in the most dire of situations. The more day-to-day investigations and administrations are carried out by the Inquisitor's human operatives. The Grey Knights' war is one waged with extreme and unmitigated prejudice, but also a war that is waged in extreme secrecy. For despite the quite open, visible and even tangible horrors of the heresy itself, the true nature, threat and extent of the Chaos Gods is still largely hidden from ordinary citizens in the Imperium. But then again, so are Grey Knights themselves, and it's worth remembering on many worlds Space Marines are often rarely seen also. The more elite the forces within the Imperium, the smaller resonance they have throughout Imperial society, and often the more mythical they are to its citizens. The Grey Knights are a force rarely even whispered about, and certainly not by name, and are all but unknown outside of the Inquisition and authorised Imperial personnel. Forget about citizens, many Imperial officers would barely entertain such a powerful and elite force to exist, even with their devout faith in the Emperor and the Imperial state. At the most, many citizens will be likely inclined to believe these Grey Knights are more simply a heavily guarded militant wing of the Inquisition, which to one degree or another they are. But any or all suspicion of such a force is rare in the extreme among the Imperial citizenry, and this is largely down to the fact that any citizens who have witnessed Grey Knights will either be killed or mind wiped. An interesting and lesser known aspect of the Grey Knight's psychic abilities is that, unusually similarly to orcs, the more Grey Knights that are physically present in combat, the more they can pull their combined psychic awareness.
Yeah, I mean, like you said there, they fight their war with extreme prejudice. So the Grey Knights, so the Inquisition will show up at this when signs of chaos present itself. So this is the way that I understand it. If there are signs of chaos, the Inquisition will usually show up. When you see a Grey Knight show up, then you know that it's not just signs of chaos, it's complete infection of chaos. And they usually then go balls to the wall. Like, everything gets fucking wiped. They don't ask questions. They will literally just kill everything and anything that came into contact with, or maybe even if you just saw a demon, you would be killed as well. Because they're basically like the containment squad, if I'm understanding it correctly.
Awareness to manifest powers. Each knight is trained to use these powerful abilities that allow them to use either defensive wards or offensive sorcerer spells in combat. Examples of these are the likes of Dark Excommunication, whereby the knight will sever a demon's link with the Chaos God Master, thereby terminating its connection to the warp and leaving it to dissolve into nothing. Or something like the fairly simplistic psychic casting of Smite, which allows lightning to leap from the knight's hand and fingers burning and tearing apart any enemies it comes into contact with. Or it could be a defensive cast of Shrouding, which blinds a Grey Knight's enemies by sheer strength of faith in the Emperor, drawing power from the warp. This will make the knight become hazy and indistinct to enemies as far away as 20 meters. And then of course you have the aptly named Vortex of Doom, where the knight will tear through real space and warp space alike, condemning any enemy caught within this conflicting vortex into absolute oblivion.
Jesus.
Within the Inquisition lies a great sense of suspicion around one of the highest honours held by the Grey Knights, that none of their order have ever been corrupted by chaos. This fact, while not disputed, is certainly the subject of discussion among those members of the Inquisition who are so sceptical to this possibility. Some of these individuals find it difficult to believe that any mortal, for want of a better verb, could engage in such sustained and direct contact with the dark entities of the warp and not suffer some form of corruption. There are arguments to be made around the sheer strength of mind of individual Grey Knights, not to mention their onion skin-like approach to defense against the darkness, where layer upon layer of careful preparation both mentally and physically is taken to guard against the chaotic beings of the Immaterium. Not to mention that each Grey Knight's gene seed is imbued with the purity of the Emperor himself. And it's worth noting that obviously the Primarchs were far more meticulously engineered and similarly imbued with the Emperor's spirit, and this didn't save many of them from the corruption of chaos. However, the Primarchs were obviously very different to the Grey Knights. One of the most dangerous pitfalls for humanity in regard to chaos is simple human ambition. And Grey Knights are really devoid of this in the truest sense. They're vessels for the Emperor's will, no more, no less. They seek to obliterate his darkest enemies as an instrument of his vengeful spirit. Of course, the most obvious answer is right there in front of you the whole time: the Emperor protects. And if you disagree with this, well, I wouldn't if I were you. It might sound a little heretical, and those inquisitors that you'd have to speak...
Tell him! All these heretic fuckers in chat that dispute the claim of the Dark Knights and the power of the Imperium. You guys need to turn back to the Emperor. Soon. Like, Grofile, you specifically, bro. Step away from the Tau. Find your place in the Imperium.
Speak to, I hear, can be unpleasant. The Grey Knight's purity of mind and body is unrivaled, and while other Astartes in their chapters have done their best to preserve their gene seed, it has over time through sheer volume of replication become diluted and impure. Not so for the Grey Knights. Their genetic heritage
Belisarius' call would later work to repair damage caused to Chapter's genes.
Reaches back unbroken and undiluted to the strength and purity of the Emperor. This untainted gene seed imbuing the Knights with the Emperor's spirit, combined with their various other means of purification, creates in each Grey Knight a perfect seal of protection, leading them to be essentially immune to the forces of the Void. These Knights are the rarest of rare examples of humanity, a singular individual among billions who stands as a bulwark
Your wife is
against
a heretic,
the endless
Mr.
waves
de
of
Moria.
horror. The Immaterium and its inhabitants can corrupt, twist, and destroy the minds and bodies of humans, Inquisitors, Astartes, even their demigod-like fathers, the Primarchs, yet the Grey Knights stand alone as the exception to this. Near everything within the Order of the Grey Knights stands separately to that of the more established military orders within the Imperium. Their chapter organisation, though, is more similarly representative of existing Space Marine chapters. They are organised into fighting formations that roughly equate to that of battle companies within a Space Marine chapter, and this constitutes 8 brotherhoods, each one aligned back to the original Knights Errant chosen by Malcador the Sigillite in the establishing days of the Grey Knights. Each of these brotherhoods will be made of around 100 knights, not including officers and senior staff. These brotherhoods will then be subdivided into squads of 10 battle brothers, which can then be split down to 5 as necessary. Beyond this, the Grey Knights operate under their own tactical preferences and using specialised war gear. Each squad will work to establish psychic disciplines so as to best align the psychic harmony between each.
Do the Grey Knights answer to Rabute Gilliman at the minute, or are they above Rabute Gilliman? Does Rabute Gilliman even know about the existence of the Grey Knights? Because I'm going to be honest with you, if the Grey Knights show up when things are most dire, why are the Grey Knights not in Parmenio? Because right now, Ultramar, Parmenio, and Ajax are being pummeled by the forces of chaos. Like, those worlds are completely fucked with chaos infection. Where are the Grey Knights in all of this?
Each battle brother, and this is obviously designed to ensure they maximise the synchronised flow of psychic combat between one another, and like any warrior, understand and read those brothers he fights alongside to know their strengths and limitations. Their weaponry will usually be a combination of psychically enhanced weapons, both close quarter and range, and each squad will be led by a Justicer, a knight rank equivalent to that of an Astartes sergeant. Grey Knight leaders, though, must not only be stronger and more tactically experienced, but also be capable of leading his squad in psychic unity, channeling their combined mental strength. No easy task to ask of any psyker, and as such, only the most proficient and honoured Grey Knights will rise to take the position of a Justicer. And this also places these individuals in greater peril than any other brothers, as they're the keystone and psychic linchpin of the squad. Grey Knights must be universally proficient with their war gear to allow them to flexibly take on roles using all their available equipment, be that
Actually, an interesting thing there, Mr. de Moria. In the chapter that I'm in now, right, just to give you guys a sense of how 40k books are written, the chapter I am busy with right now basically goes through, what's the chapter called? Let me just quickly find the chapter name. It's called Legio Oberon Walks. Yeah, that's the chapter. It's chapter 20. Now, I'm not going to give anything away, but effectively, this entire chapter, so this entire chapter here, deals with the feelings of the Princip that commands the Titan God's wrath. So basically, literally just explains all of the feelings as the machine spirit wakes up, as they delve into the machine spirit, as, you know, they lose sense of self and become the very Titan that they are a part of, and how they sort of, you know, space themselves out on the battlefield, how they communicate with each other, how orders are given. That's the entire chapter. And it's literally just from the perspective of one of the Princeps, of one of these Titans. That's one of the reasons I love the Warhammer book so much, is that every chapter is written from some other perspective. So you really do get to see multiple sides of a conflict.
that power armor, Terminator armor, force, or heavy ranged weapons. There are 4 primary squad roles for Grey Knights. Terminator squads are the core of the chapter. They'll be armed with Storm Bolters, the standard for Terminators, and a specialized psychic close quarter weapon known as a Nemesis Force weapon. Terminator armor is for the longest time the pinnacle of armor type for a Space Marine. Immune to all but the heaviest of weaponry, both projectile energy and close quarter, these immense suits of armor shield against near all. And within most standard chapters of Astartes, only their first company are usually granted the privilege to wear such rare pieces of Imperium hardware. Not so for the Grey Knights. They are so important and also such skilled warriors that they possess enough suits of Terminator armor to outfit not just one company, but nearly their entire chapter.
Fuck. Yeah, these things are boss, bro.
While for most Space Marines this armor is an immense gift that can easily turn a battle, for the Grey Knights it is a useful tool to be sure, but it is nothing compared to the skill and strength of the warrior who wears it. For a Grey Knight it requires more than a physical shield to protect against their quarries. These Terminator squads also carry one of the most powerful tools with which to fight the nightmarish entities of the Immaterium Nemesis Force weapons. These uniquely crafted weapons allow the user to channel and focus their psychic powers through the blade and the weapon itself, and this unleashes upon their foes devastatingly powerful psychic strength that can literally eviscerate and cleave demons normally immune to physical impact in two, to shatter and obliterate their warp energy, and are rightly feared by the chaotic creatures of the warp. And it might seem awkward to have to wield such a large melee weapon, because in doing so, surely a Grey Knight would have to sacrifice having, say, a ranged Storm Bolter if you're using a two-hand weapon. Well, not so. For Grey Knights, their Storm Bolters are often mounted on the wrist of their armour, allowing them to wield a powerful Nemesis Force weapon and simultaneously continue to deploy ranged firepower upon the enemy. Now strike...
You know what this video is doing for me? It's helping me outfit, like in my mind, I'm working on Chaos Bane. No, is it called Chaos Bane or is it called Chaos Gate? What's that game called again? Might actually be called Warhammer Chaos Gate. Yeah, Chaos Gate. Because I never understood how to optimize their armor, but this video is now going, okay, so Terminator armor, and then the storm bolts, and the staffs. That's the shit that they want to have. It's helping me equip my knights.
Squads. As the name suggests, these are squads used to tactically assault and capture critical locations and objectives. Once inserted into a combat area with teleporters, fast dropships or pods, they are expected to hold their location until a main force is able to link up with them. A strike squad might be used when a, say, demon incursion is just beginning or has struck an Imperial position without any prior warning or suspicion. The principle being to attempt to limit the damage and contain the threat before it spreads and becomes far more serious. They may wear Terminator or more standard power armor, and again utilize a combination of Storm Bolters, Force weapons, and even Psi Cannon. Now, the Psi Cannon is a weapon specifically created by the Imperium to counter the threat of demonic incursions. It resembles a heavy bolter and operates in much the same way, except that it fires psychically charged bolt rounds. Each round will also be ritually inscribed so as to penetrate any warp-energized shielding a demon could produce, as well as causing maximum damage and pain to the demon being engaged. Because demonic entities do not move like physical creatures who are affected by gravity, it's necessary for Psi Cannons to be fired on the move, and while heavy bolters are able to do this when wielded by a Space Marine, they are less effective due to their namely heavy nature. So a Psi Cannon uses an anti-gravitic suspensor to offset its weight and allow it to be fired when moving. This does though limit its effective range, and these weapons are used almost exclusively by the agents of the Ordo Malleus. Interceptor squads are basically, as the name suggests, for intercepting enemy on a changing battlefield situation, and they do this by teleporting in a straight visible site-to-site transport using personal backpack teleporters. These are unique to the Grey Knights, as teleportation by the Imperium is not especially common, because they are essentially having to push themselves through warp space. This is a feat only a Grey Knight could hope to achieve and not come out the other side a gibbering broken wreck or worse. They also must do so without any kind of usual protection or Terminator armor, which is too bulky to allow the fitted units to function properly. The process requires immense mental discipline and psychic focus to operate safely, but it provides the Grey Knights with an almost unrivaled strength to attack enemies at positions they're not expecting and literally just intercept them. In one rare example, Justice and Malagante used a personal teleporter to travel from a planet to its moon in pursuit of a demon prince, an achievement few of even the most experienced Grey Knights could hope to replicate given the distance and dangers.
You have to think about how dangerous that actually is, because the ships of the Imperium are equipped with void shields. Without those void shields, they're fucked. Right? Without their warp shields and without the void shield, they're the Gala shields, but it's effectively a void shield. They're fucked. Like, if your Gala field goes down, you're basically a sitting duck for all of the horrors of the warp. And it's not just chaos entities that you have to be afraid of. It's everything. Like, the warp is just a complete mess. These things go in there without any Galar field, without any sort of void protection whatsoever, and they come out the other side just fine. No questions asked. How the fuck? A bubble of real space in the warp, but works kind of like a shield, I suppose. Well, yeah, I call it a shield because it is effectively what it does. It shields you from the power of the warp, or the nightmares of the warp, I guess.
Involved. Lastly, we have the Purgation Squads, which are essentially heavy weapons units. While they are essentially the Grey Knights' version of standard Astartes Devastator squads, the weapons they wield are more powerful and often far rarer. They also operate differently, for ordinary Space Marine Devastators bring up the rear of assault while targeting critical, high-value targets with their powerful weapons, but are limited in movement by the bulk of the heavy weapons that they're carrying. Grey Knights' Purgation Squads are not allowed this role of backstop. They must maintain the assault alongside their other battle brothers while simultaneously choosing and engaging targets on the battlefield. They utilise the aforementioned Psi Cannons as well as Incinerators, which, like a Psi Cannon, bear an initial resemblance to the common sibling the Heavy Flamer, but Incinerators however use Sanctified Promethium in the similar way that Psi Cannon bolts are inscribed to deal maximum pain and damage to demons. Both of these weapons must not simply be deployed in an arbitrary fashion. The users must have a well-studied knowledge of different warp entities so as to use their weapons to their best effect. Beyond this, Purgation Squads are often required to make every expulsion of their ammunition count, as they'll likely be facing superior enemy numbers that could easily overwhelm a non-Grey Knight unit. With that in mind, a Purgation Squad will not simply have good weapon skill and knowledge, but will also be able to use the power of their minds to ensure their shots find their targets, regardless of what other battlefield obstructions lie between them and their target. Now, this enables them to often achieve shots that appear impossible, firing around obstacles, even around corners, killing enemies who assumed themselves safe from fire. To any non-Grey Knight units who witness such engagements, it can often be perceived as a true expression of the Emperor's will, and only further supports the Grey Knight's belief that they are quite literally weapons of the Emperor himself, an extension of his great spirit onto the battlefields of the Imperium. And while Grey Knights must always be flexible to a role as necessary in the chapter, once they take on the role of a Purgation Squad, they'll often remain in this position because of the high level of specific focus and skill required to operate successfully within these squads. In addition to the main squad types, there are other variants of Grey Knight known as Purifiers and Paladins. Now, Purifiers are a strange and terrifying selection of individuals. A Purifier is simply the purest of the pure. They are the truest examples that exist of an incorruptible spirit. These are Grey Knights chosen from within the Grey Knights, and while all within the Order are already considered to be essentially incorruptible, these Knights are selected as being even more specifically pure, and because of this there are rarely more than 30 or 40 individuals active at any time within the Order. For the entities of the Warp, this is just as well, because the spiritual strength of these Grey Knights is so powerful that demons literally will wither from their presence. They are a quite literal anathema. The purifiers also have a sacred duty to maintain the purifying seals and bindings on any demons being held captive by the Grey Knights. They also are able to turn their sheer purity of soul into a weapon against the darkness of the warp, channeling it through their psychic power to produce expulsions of ethereal fire which will burn out and incinerate the souls of their enemy. While a Grey Knight could serve his order for years and show nothing but pure skill and service without exception, he could still be denied entry as a purifier, because their standards for acceptance are the extreme of the extreme, and skillful warrior or not, this won't be a qualifying consideration. Paladins, on the other hand, are elite warriors and protectors without comparison. They represent only the most capable and stand-apart knights, which is a strong distinction to make within the Grey Knights, being that they are already some of the most superior warriors in the galaxy. Paladins are in essence the elite warriors of the Grey Knights, and to prove themselves worthy of acceptance, they must not—
I have a question. If the Grey Knights were to find themselves ever under siege by Space Marines, so normal Space Marines, or let's up the ante. Let's say the Death Guard met the Grey Knights on battle. What would that look like? Like, who has the upper hand in that battle? Grey Knights would beat them 100%. So the Death Guard would not be able to stand against the Grey Knights. So what can beat the Grey Knights? Is there anything the Warp can throw at the Grey Knights that would be able to beat them? Except for maybe like the generals of the Chaos Guards? A lot of demons, I guess. Just numbers. So you would have to overpower them with just sheer numbers. Logan Guerrero. What about Magnus? Because he's a pretty powerful psyker as well. Would Magnus and his sons stand a chance? I know he's a Primarch. I'm asking, how many Grey Knights would it take to take down Magnus? Grey Knights are a hard counter to Magnus's 1,000 Sons? Fucked up the ass by a single Grey Knight? Nice! Because I fucking hate Mortarion. Not gonna lie to you, I despise that guy. Full company, he's very powerful psyker. Okay, so Magnus, although someone just said there, Magnus, no, Mortarion got fucked by a single Grey Knight. So Magnus would be a problem. In Emperor voice text box, it took a company of Smurth to kidnap Magnus. We don't talk about Drago. Bear in mind, he was designed by the Emperor to sit in the Golden Throne in his stead. Yeah, I know that. Through Kaldor and his Grey Knights against Magnus and his 1,000 Sons, it'd be relentlessly bloody battle.
Not only exhibit exceptional skill and a record of pure service, but they must go beyond and complete 8 sacred quests of increasing challenge. If successful, they'll be granted the honour of becoming a Grey Knight Paladin, and additionally be assigned to one of the Grand Masters as their personal guard. The various quests are designed to test all aspects of the Grey Knight. These include isolation in caverns surrounded by spirits that seek to break the Knight's sanity, and he'll be expected to fight warp-spawned entities whilst wearing no armour, bringing back trophies from Chaos Demon Heralds, and they'll also be expected to hunt down and banish one of the 666 most powerful demons using only a Nemesis Force Sword and the demon's own name against it. Once the trials are completed, they'll achieve the rank of Paladin, and Paladins will also act as a guard for Grey Knight Apothecaries on the battlefield, because the Apothecaries, these individuals are critical to the ongoing purity and genetic stability of the Order, and as such they play a vital role for the Grey Knights, and their survival is essential. As with all apothecaries, while they are able to obviously act as medics, their primary role is actually to retrieve the gene seed of fallen space marines. And while this is always a hallowed role for an Astartes, given the genetic link to the Emperor for a Grey Knight, this task is even more critical and honoured. As per the original founding of the Grey Knights, the command structure is made up of 8 Grand Masters who sit on the chapter council, and these will be presided over by the Supreme Grand Master. This system of rule was laid down by, of course, Malcador the Sigillite when the Order was first established.
I have a question that has nothing to do with the video, and I do apologize for that. What is the sacred number of the machine spirit? Or the machine god? Because I read last night, or this morning, they were talking about it's 1 + 1, which is half the number of the machine spirit, or double the number of the machine spirit, or something like that. It has to be laid out that way because that's apparently the sacred number of the machine spirit. Does anyone know what that's about, or am I saying words that no one fucking understands?
The Supreme Grand Master, while having total authority over the chapter, can only be appointed by a completely unanimous consent by the sitting Grand Masters. The purpose being obviously that it should be as close to impossible for an unsuitable or the most unthinkable situation, a corrupted individual taking over the role. This though would be highly unlikely because the system is designed to ensure that only a fully suitable candidate were able to take on such a powerful position. The Grand Masters themselves usually have little direct command to their subordinates, because the Grey Knights are such a high skill order that most of their general operations are handled without the need for significant oversight. The Grand Masters often play a literal role as well on the battlefield, supporting their brothers.
Are we war? Yeah. Fuck. Okay, you guys are gonna make me pause this now, aren't you? Because now I have to find this. If I can find it. Princess Cable sat back in the command throne. Keeping his limbs in place was uncomfortable. Soon he would link with God's wrath, and the sensations of his human body would shrink into insignificance. Until then, he focused on what was going on around him to keep cramp at bay. In front of him, his Moderati, Primus, and Steerman guided the weapons crew through their final calibrations, query, and response check cants. Went back and forth. Moderati was punctuated by the gentle click of buttons and the notification chimes of good function. By the grace of the Omnissiah, power feeds to Chain Fist at full capacity. Let the motor force flow, said the Primus. Under the glory of the machine, do the missile tubes work smoothly? Send shell and explosions to rend the foe, replied the weapons Moderati by Hardline Vox. Let the mid-range fusion of your melter cannon slag the unrighteous with blistering heat, said the Primus. So it shall be, replied Aaron, the third of his weapon Moderati. Dunkel let their preparations lull him. The great metal body of his Reaver throbbed momentarily with increased reactor output as machinery was powered up, tested, and powered down. Occasional reports from the Enginarium buzzed into the cockpit, but nothing could disturb the soothing cant of his crew. He shut his eyes, letting the senses of the Titan take the place of human sight and hearing. The discomfort of the manifold heart lines plugged into the back of his skull melted away. Heart seats and awkward physical controls no longer troubled him. All human sensation was as nothing when his mind spread to fill the metal giant. The sense of his own body dwindled, becoming little more than a remembered irritation. Dunkel was becoming God's wrath, his giant feet planted wide apart, wide upon the hard standing of the marshalling yards. He felt the electric thrill of gyroscopes keeping him balanced, the minute adjustments the Reaver's hips pistons made to its posture. All systems operated perfectly. There were none of the catches of movement or stiffness in the machine's joints he had experienced last time. The overhaul given to God's wrath on the way to Tucson had been total. The results were remarkable. The Titan's machine personality was equally pleased with its rejuvenation, and its bloody soul eager for the fight. Dunkel was apart from it. He saw his own mind as a series of layers, each function of his intellect isolated by the manifold so it might be more easily integrated with the greater being of God's wrath. The engine's primitive soul moved beneath the electric waves of the interference, a Leviathan mount that waited for Dunkel to grasp its reins. The echoes of its former princeps, Psyches, were ghostly priests in attendance to this metal demigod. The princeps sank deeper into the mind of the machine, blending his consciousness with mechanical and electronic systems. His awareness brushed on each of the Titan's hundreds of devices before they faded away from his somatic control, and their operation became as automatic and unnoticed as the beating of his human heart. The spirit of each mechanism leapt a little at his touch before they quietened. But the machine's interface smoothed out these interactions. The god's wrath remained as unmoving as an idol. From its electrical heaven, God's wrath reached for Dunkel and his 6 crew. Before Dunkel merged with his machine, the crew's minds bled together at the edges. Networking through the glorious technologies of the manifold, 6 became 1, a sacred number, 2 times the trinity of the machine god. 6 became 1, a sacred number, 2 times the trinity of the machine god. So the machine god is a trinity. How, though? Yeah, it says 6 became 1, a sacred number, 2 times the trinity of the machine god. But 6 is also, 6 is a sacred number because it's 2 times the trinity of the machine god. But why is the machine god a trinity? Became 1, equal merge with the Titan. Yeah, so basically, the trinity of the machine god could then be looked at as the human that merges with the mechanical and with the machine soul. Does that make up the trinity? Mr. Muria, it's literally right here. I'm not making it up. It's literally right here. 6 became 1, a sacred number, 2 times the trinity of the machine god. Dunkel exalted in his deepest being, for his was a holy and honorable calling. Let's check this out. The machine god, also known as the Omnissiah or Deus Mechanicus, is the supernatural entity worshipped by the tech priest and other servants of the Adeptus Mechanicus as the embodiment and bestower of all knowledge and technology in the universe. For many in the Imperium of Man, this belief conflicts with the orthodox theology of the Imperial cult, where the only god of humanity is the Emperor of Man. But since the Adeptus Mechanicus is vital to the survival, the Trinity, here we go. The cult Mechanicus, the religious hierarchy of the Adeptus Mechanicus that upholds the worship of the machine god, believes knowledge to be the manifestation of divinity and holds that anything embodying or containing knowledge is holy because of it. The supreme object of devotion is therefore the machine god, an immanent, omniscient, and omnipotent deity that governs all machinery and knowledge in the universe. Generally, this deity is held by orthodox believers to be an aspect of the God Emperor of mankind in the form of the Omnissiah. The Omnissiah, the physical avatar of the machine god in the universe, is believed to be friendly to humanity as his chosen people, and to be the originator of all human technological and scientific knowledge. There are many members of the Mechanicus who have doubts about whether the Omnissiah and the Emperor are actually the same being. Many heretical cults within the Mechanicus hold that the Omnissiah may not yet have revealed himself. It was similar beliefs that led to the outbreak of the Schism of Mars and the formation of the Dark Mechanicum during the Horus Heresy. The third member of the cult Mechanicus, Sacred Trinity, is the Motif Force. The cult Mechanicus believes that all life and motion, mechanical or biological, owes its continued existence to the universal power that is the Motif Force. The Motif Force finds its fullest expression in the animistic machine spirits, who are believed to inhabit all machinery and which must be appeased before a piece of technology is used or repaired, lest the machinery fail. So the Trinity is effectively the Omnissiah, the Motif, and something else. What was it? I don't think they had a name for it. It's more just the knowledge. God, Jesus, and Holy Spirit. Yeah. So it's knowledge, but they don't have a special name for the knowledge. But it's knowledge, the Omnissiah, and then the Motif Force. Or Motif Force. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. Anyways, we can now go back to the video. Thank you so much, chat.
Or sometimes assisting coordination when one of their demons of special interest makes an incursion to the Materium. The Grey Knights are an order enriched by their access to specialist equipment, war gear and armour, and these can be small and individual, standard issue, or applied to heavy force multipliers like dreadnoughts. They also use more strange ritual relics that for them hold powerful strength against warp entities. In addition to war gear already discussed by Grey Knights, they're often equipped with Crusader helms. These are older patterns of helmet that simply give a distinct and knightly appearance, a visual mark of a Grey Knight, very easily identifiable. While many Marines will wear seals on their armour or weapons, those worn by Grey Knights are blessed in complex rituals to preserve their strength and energy. If a warrior is able to return to their homeworld with his seals unbroken, it is a strong mark of skill and respect from other brothers. Oath shields are personal heraldry worn by a Grey Knight, and these are another visually distinctive trait, with the only comparison being the respected houses of the Imperial Knights. Oath shields can also be updated to include elevated standing of achievement within the chapter. Now, the Codicium Aeternum is a book, a dread tome containing the Grey Knights and also Ordo Malleus's knowledge on many demons the Order have faced and defeated. Strewn across pages of insanity that, to witness this, could easily lose a human mortal their mind, are penned residual information, recorded calculations on where and how these dark entities may manifest and how they can be defeated. For Grey Knights, it's not uncommon for them to use very physical relics of past Grey Knights or martyred devout members of the Imperial cult, and to that end they may use the very blood and bones of past Grey Knights, and this can be seen in various relics or mounted on their armour. These wards are often felt so strongly by demons as to be completely intolerable. For a demon, the psychic energy expelled by such relics penetrates their spirit like nuclear fire, and feel as if their ethereal skin is being stripped away layers at a time by white-hot energy.
Fucking hell.
Now, the Liber Demonica is...
So the Grey Knights are literally anathema to demons. Everything they do, it just goes against what demons are.
Another arcane book containing script from the Librarium Demonica on the Grey Knight's homeworld of Titan, but these books are mounted on a Grey Knight's chestplate and carried into every battle they fight in. The books themselves are powerful psychic talismans, and the spine of each book is carved from the bones of a martyred saint of the Imperial cult. Above all else, they are an icon representing the incorruptible human faith in the Emperor of Mankind, and this in itself is a shivering weapon against the forces of chaos and the warp. The Nemesis banner is soaked in the blood of a dozen Grand Masters and is one of the Grey Knight's most powerful relics. A heavy tool against the abominations of the warp, its psychic fire burns with such an intensity that demons can barely tolerate its presence. To them, it has extreme psychic radiation, and the nearer it is to them, the more powerful they feel its visceral psychic heat penetrating their spirit and slowly burning them out of existence. Now, Aegis dreadnoughts are noteworthy simply because they are rarer than ordinary dreadnoughts. Their armour, as with standard Grey Knight Aegis armour, is more effective at protecting against the demonic entities of the warp. And another interesting point of note is that unlike other Space Marine chapters who consider consignment to a dreadnought a high honour to continue in the service of the Emperor, Grey Knights perhaps quite surprisingly consider their dedication and interpretation of the role they play as the extensions of the Emperor himself. They prefer not to be interred in a dreadnought, but to instead find rest in the dead fields of Titan alongside the greatest of the chapter heroes. For this reason, only the very highest of skilled Grey Knight warriors will be placed inside a dreadnought, often a Grand Master. Because of this, a Grey Knight dreadnought may also take on the role of a battlefield commander. And while it's true that dreadnoughts are nearly always ancient and can bring much wisdom and tactical knowledge to their active brothers on any battlefield, it's not common for them to take a command role, but again, not so in the Grey Knights. Lastly, Dread Knights. And
Dreadnought is the one that once you're in there forever, right? Like, they literally fuse you with it. You can't get out of it again. Or is it something that you can get, like, you just jump in and then you jump out? Yes, it's a mobile coffin. Jesus. So what? You piss in there, you poo in there, you eat in there. How do you do, like, how do you have fun in there? Is there anything that you can do? Like, what the hell? You round 2, taking more Warhammer 40k approach. Life support systems, take care of that. Fun. Yeah, but you have to have a little bit of fun. Like maybe just watch a YouTube video every once in a while, you know? No Boo, you're just stuck till the next battle. They might have their legs and arms removed. Wow. The things they do for the Imperium.
And this is a very unusual piece of hardware that is exclusively used by the Grey Knights. It's essentially a powerful exoskeleton to allow a Grey Knight Space Marine to combat the most powerful demons one-on-one. Now these will usually only be required when fighting a greater demon of chaos or a demon prince, who while still ethereal warp creations have massive physical strength. The amazing feature of a Dreadknight is that unlike Dreadnoughts, which are lumbering and slow, a Dreadknight enables its user to fight with much of the agility and skill of a standard Marine or human. Also, instead of their arms and fists being replaced by mounted weapons as per Dreadnoughts, a Dreadknight has much more close replication to standard human appendages, and so they have the ability to grip and use different force weapons, as well as having bolters mounted on their wrist, similarly to ordinarily armoured Grey Knights. This agility is highly necessary, not only for attack and also defense, as unlike a Dreadnought which is very heavily armoured to compensate for its trudging speed, a Dreadnought operator is far more exposed even whilst wearing his own personal armour, so the need to be able to move with more dexterity is very necessary to ensure the user is not simply ripped from the machine and torn asunder. As with most other Astartes chapters, the Grey Knights use starships to travel through the galaxy. But unlike most other chapters of Space Marine, they have much more unique adaptation, as is fairly consistent with much of the Grey Knight's hardware. Their ships, for example, are modified with anti-demonic wards, and this gives these ships additional protection while travelling through the warp. Although given the crew complement, it's surprising that demons would even want to go near them. Their ships have more armour and all are equipped with teleportation devices and have upgraded engines as well. They contain larger drop pods to enable heavier deployment of units, and any necessary mortal humans crewing the ship are mind-wiped without exception to reduce any possible chaos corruption.
And these ships are
These
massive.
necessary human crew members also have the fun time of being psychically implanted with a key word that will shut down their nervous system should the vessel be contaminated by chaos, and this would obviously result in their mass simultaneous deaths instantly. Now, why is it that the Grey Knights get all of these specialist technical upgrades? All of these advanced upgrades seem very unusual when you consider the general lack of such a thing throughout Imperial forces. Well, for one thing, the Grey Knights are blessed by their close proximity to Mars, the home forge world of the Mechanicus, and as such this gives them close access to technology not found anywhere else in the Imperium. They're also only able to access this technology because of their extremely powerful position as the militant wing of the Ordo Malleus, which commands authority arguably as powerful as the Emperor himself. Now lastly, as we look at one of the most powerful orders in the Imperium, I want to speak to something that often seems unbelievable or even contradictory. Now it is established that few have ever laid eyes on a Grey Knight and have not either been mind-wiped, executed, or in some cases planets even considered for exterminatus, although not on the site of a Grey Knight, but still it's within the power of the Grey Knights to do such a thing. Grey Knights are a heavily secretive order ever since their inception, and this is one of the most fundamental principles of the Grey Knights. But why? On the face of it, you could consider it as being even a positive, morale-boosting piece of knowledge that Imperial citizens know they have these superhuman demon-killing Astartes on their side, except for the fact that the reason...
But when it comes to the Inquisition, that no mercy thing goes a little bit beyond just normal. Like, innocence proves nothing. Holy, like, it's next level, right? Because yeah, there is very little mercy in the 40k universe. Let's be real. Almost everything is just a constant slouch and horrible existence. But then you meet an Inquisitor, and you go, "I'm innocent," and the Inquisitor goes, "Well, that proves nothing. What do you want? Do you want a fucking medal before we kill you? Just because you're innocent doesn't mean shit to me." So yeah, at the end of the day, they seem a little bit like less mercy than no mercy. It's like fuck all mercy, almost. Battlefield casualties can get the Emperor's mercy, yeah, which is to just be killed, right?
The reason for the secrecy is that it is still considered that humanity, in terms of the citizenry, are largely unaware of chaos itself and certainly of demons. Now this itself might seem on the face of it unbelievable for several reasons. when you consider the fact that not only has Chaos been around and continually harassing humanity for so long, but events like the Horus Heresy and the subsequent rift after 999 in Millennium 41. Even before that, various crusades by Chaos Marines and so on, so the obvious conclusion is surely that your average Imperial citizen has some semblance of the dark powers of the warp. But the question is it much beyond that? Education is not something high on the agenda of the Imperium, and many citizens are going to live very, very constrained lives. It's very likely that any weird things ordinary citizens have seen are easily attributed to magic or the like. And there's a very real reason as well as to why the Imperium in general continues to attempt to suppress against the general population having a knowledge of chaos. It's been continually debated that the Emperor could have been better off to give his Space Marines knowledge of chaos so as to better protect them against being caught off guard by this, and as they ultimately were slowly manipulated. It's questionable if this same truth would be more beneficial or more harmful to your average citizen.
Oh, I remember our first days, our first forays into the world of 40K. How we would spend hours debating whether or not the Emperor made a mistake not telling his Primarchs about the warp and about the Chaos Gods and so on and so forth. How little I knew then, how little I knew then. I still don't agree with what the Emperor did, but hey, the Emperor protects, so at the end of the day, you just have to roll with it.
It's fairly established that humans are not exactly the best at controlling either their emotions or their ambitions, and all of these things Chaos seeks to exploit already, so allowing widespread knowledge to humans who probably do not have especially great day-to-day lives that there are magical beings who can make you powerful and immortal seems fundamentally a bad idea. The key thing for me is that while guardsmen and such may, through their combat experience, that's if they live long enough to have any combat experience, may have some vague understanding of what it is that they're fighting, they probably don't understand its true nature. And this is the heart of the matter. When you hear talk of innocents being purged or mind-wiped because they've been exposed to chaos, it's not that they've seen some other human heretics or traitors or even mutated citizens who were corrupted by chaos. These things can just be explained away by, say, the Ecclesiarchy or the Inquisition. What I believe draws a line is literal demonic incursion, and this is where you similarly would be far more likely to encounter, say, a Grey Knight, and not just standard Imperial forces. Which is why Grey Knights are then also quick to dismiss human civilians who may have witnessed them as well. Their reasoning for doing so being our understanding of the true nature of chaos. It's important to keep in mind that those who are regularly fighting the truest forces of chaos are hardened Astartes or fanatical devout worshippers of the Emperor. But these individuals have significantly hardened minds, and even then are not immune and could be also mind-scoured equally.
To be fair, I don't know if this video came out before or after the Dark Imperium books. But in the Dark Imperium books, those, like the members of the Militarum, they fully understand the Death Guard. While they're fighting the Death Guard, they do actually, like, question why these sons of the Emperor would turn their back on the Imperium, why they would serve the Chaos Gods. So they definitely know. Which is why I don't think the claims that most of the Imperium don't know, because obviously when those Imperial Guardsmen go home, the ones that do go home, when they go home, they're obviously going to tell people about what the fuck just happened there, right? They're going to have those conversations, and those people are going to have conversations. So it's almost definite that most people in Imperium will have some semblance of dark forces being out there. Maybe not exactly, but dark forces somewhere.
After witnessing a true demonic incursion that has been defeated by the Grey Knights. So your average Imperial pleb is going to have their soul burned out by even the simplest glance upon a true entity of the chaotic realm. That is, unless they somehow have the strength of spirit to remain immune, and then they're likely going to be taken away by the Inquisition or Grey Knights to assist in some capacity. The rest of any survivors would be mind-wiped or just executed. Now it's also worth, as with anything, keeping it in context and remembering that this is a society in which millions are sacrificed for various reasons on a pretty regular basis, to dispose of a few hundred or even a few thousand civilians to ensure that there is not an off chance that one situation, once you've left a planet.
Some guardsmen do go home. Not all, not many, but some. There are rare cases of guardsmen actually making it and actually getting out the other side. Now, of course, they probably will die in the subsequent wars, but that doesn't mean that eventually some of them might go home.
Planet which suffered an incursion by chaos, you leave that one person who gazed into the endless void eyes of a demon of the immaterium. You leave that person to potentially then incubate the seed of chaotic corruption, and then years later that planet suffers the nightmare of a ritually summoned horde of demons from the warp spreading across the entire planet and leading it down a path of possible exterminatus. Why would you take that chance? For the Grey Knights and the Inquisition, the choice is not even a choice, weighing the lives of a few hundred against potentially billions. Those unfortunate souls are going to be purged. It's horrific and unfortunate, but it's the reality of life in the 41st millennium.
Yeah.
The Grey Knights' policy of mind-wiping any citizens who witness them, or in the case of unauthorized Imperial personnel, perhaps at best swearing them to secrecy, probably only in the case of other Astartes, their reasons are fairly straightforward. For one, it's the Emperor's wish that they were born as a secret wing of the Ordo Malleus, and secondly, it's simply a case of ensuring the less is known of them and their purposes the better. Not to mention that in actuality the chances of ordinary citizens running into Grey Knights is very minimal. When you consider most humans would unlikely even encounter an ordinary Astartes, and Grey Knights are far rarer, and usually will only appear when there is an actual demonic incursion taking place. They're not just walking around. So for the very few times where other Imperial forces may encounter them, the answer really is why wouldn't they mind wipe these people and just play it safe? The whole excessive secrecy of the...
Is mind wipe similar to what happens in Men in Black? Or more like turning you into a complete fucking vegetable? Because they say mind wipe as if that's some lesser problem, but I'm assuming it's not. I'm assuming it's not good. I don't know. I haven't read much about how it's used. Grofal says it's 40k. Take a wild guess. You probably have a new career as a servitor? Ah, okay. Battling, sadly, it's not. Steve, you bastard, with the Prime sub, dude. 3 months, part of the DJ Nation. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Most soldiers are just planetary defense forces who have no idea about the rest of the galaxy. The proper Imperial Guard know and train for what they're fighting against and travel all over the galaxy to do so. But in the era of 40k, so I believe it's used quite lazily. Yeah, they're probably turning you into a vegetable or a servitor. Yeah, mind wipe. I don't know what's better. Maybe just be killed.
The Grey Knights, though, ultimately seems a little unnecessary. If your ordinary citizen were to see a Grey Knight, they could easily simply be told, hey, it's a Space Marine, now get back to your backbreaking work. This would likely be more than explanation enough, and anyone seeing them in action would be already mind wiped or executed as we discussed. So as for any ongoing awareness of chaos by the Imperium, this also seems to be in the general sphere a losing battle, and it is worrying that if when large populations start to become aware of what chaos means, what this could lead to or mean for the Imperium, because having the galaxy ripped in half is a pretty hard one to spin, yet this is the Imperium of man, and propaganda is a powerful thing.
Yep. Valdus and the 13th Black Crusade. The Valdus and the 13th, but what exactly is this? The Black Crusade was Abaddon's crusade, right? It's what Abaddon called it. Oh, to the tainted we bring fire.
In the current time of the Imperium, humanity faces one of the most severe
Avedon, if it is out of sync, just reload your screen, because that can sometimes happen with Twitch. On my side, it looks to be in sync with one another. So if it is out of sync, just reload.
threats to its survival that has been since either the Age of Strife or the Heresy. For the Grey Knights, this is the very role they were destined for, and that perhaps the Emperor even understood they were needed for. Uldric Voldus is but one example of the necessity of such a force within the Imperium. A veteran of many campaigns, he would assist the Ultramarines in defending their homeworld and resurrecting their Primarch, Robert Guilliman. A summary follows of his involvement with these events, where he would play a strong supporting role to the Ultramarines Primarch. After the fall of Cadia, the traitorous forces of Chaos had learned that Archmagus Belisarius Cawl had escaped and was making his way to Macragge, the Ultramarines' homeworld. While Cawl was attempting to resurrect Guilliman, the Chaos traitors known as the Black Legion, formerly the Lunar Wolves and Sons of Horus, would launch a springboarding assault from Cadia, fearing what the Loyalist Ultramarines were attempting to do with the aid of Cawl. The Brotherhood of the Grey Knights, commanded by Uldric Voldus, would aid in defending the Ultramarines' homeworld and the various battles around there at the time. After the Primarch Guilliman was successfully resurrected, Voldus and his Grey Knights became instrumental in the strategy to retake Macragge and Ultramar from the traitors. This campaign, though, would unfortunately take many months as warp storms continued to rage and the Loyalist forces were bogged down as many of the mortal soldiers fighting for the Ultramar system became stricken by an affliction known as the Weeping. For little apparent reason, soldiers fighting against Chaos incursions would find that their eyes began to weep stinking, foul tears that would soon gum up their eyes like glue, leaving them forced open, and soon this would turn them raw or oozing pus, and then ultimately rot out of their sockets. Guilliman, however, discovered that wherever he was present, these soldiers would become mysteriously healed, so this would lead him on an endless journey between stations in the system to heal his warriors, and this significantly drew his attention away from the larger conflict occurring between Chaos and its Loyalist forces. However, over time it became apparent that after he had left a region, symptoms could often return to the unfortunate victims. All the while, these delays were allowing for time to pass, time the Loyalists could ill afford, as the warp storms continued to worsen around the Ultramar system, and the navigators of starships were soon beginning to suspect and even voice aloud that if the conflict wasn't resolved soon, all warp travel in and out of Ultramar could be entirely cut off and the system would be left isolated from the wider galaxy, a situation that was entirely untenable to the Loyalists. This is where Uldric Voldus would play a most key role in confronting Guilliman, something that's doubtful any of his own Ultramarines would have had the knowledge or the strength of will to do. In a heated confrontation, Voldus would force Guilliman to understand that this plague sweeping the system was a deliberate waste of his time, that he was not in fact healing these suffering warriors, but that he had been played for time by the Chaos God Nurgle. Voldus could see through the plot being employed by the Chaos God to blight the mortal forces, and that Guilliman had not in fact been healing his forces, but the Nurgle was merely pulling back their symptoms only to then reinstigate them once Guilliman had left their vicinity. Knowing the strength of the Ultramarines, emboldened by the return of their Primarch, this had been the Chaos Powers' plan all along to delay their victory and success, and instead keep them contained within their own system. The knowledge and strength of actions initiated by Voldus as a Grey Knight would lead the Primarch to set out on a great crusade to Terra. He had no intention of repeating his past mistakes during the Heresy and reaching Terra too late. Something which had led to the near-mortal wounding of the Emperor, and something which clearly still played on the mind of the Ultramarines Primarch. Voldus and his third Brotherhood of Grey Knights would join the Primarch and the 1st, 2nd and 3rd companies of the Ultramarines to Terra itself. But on this journey, the entourage would face more than several attempts by Chaos to dissuade them from their plan or outright stop them from reaching their destination. Unstable warp tides, becoming trapped in the maelstrom of the warp itself as an ambush orchestrated by the Thousand Suns Primarch, Magnus the Red. Battles with traitorous warships and encountering many horrors of the Immaterium. They were stranded with no light of the Astronomicon to guide them back to real space. But the fleet locating some faint transmissions from a moon, friend or foe, they were trapped in the Immaterium, and this was an opportunity they had to seize upon.
Magnus is the Primarch that actually didn't want to join Chaos, right? Isn't he the one that actually right now would actually want to go back to the Imperium if given the option? Yeah, because he was sort of tricked into, well, not tricked into joining Chaos, but sort of forced almost. Because he tried to communicate with the Emperor, and that broke the Golden Throne, or at least set back the Golden Throne's operations by a fuck long time. The Emperor then believed Magnus to be an agent of Chaos, and even though Magnus was trying to warn the Emperor that, hey, bro, Horus is pretty corrupt. Now the brand is traitors, and his legion has been corrupted, though. He's kind of stuck. He was tricked into being an instigator, and his depression led his sons to nearly be executed by Leman Russ. Okay, so his sons has fallen to Chaos. He's fallen to Chaos as well, right? Has he accepted Chaos already, or is he still sort of in between? His soul split into different shards. Yes, and I disagree. He's a demon prince. Okay, so it is too late for him now. Going back as far as we know? Okay.
However,
So,
what
yeah,
they would
he's not
find
going
was no
back.
saviour, but in fact a fortified installation in a range of mountains. Guilliman would lead an attack, discovering in their disgust that this place was in fact inhabited by renegade marines known as the Red Corsairs. The Primarch being in no mood for this, the battle was raging and brief, and Grey Knight Master Aldrich Voldus provided Dread Knights who would slaughter their renegade leadership. The journey would continue to be difficult, encountering countless more traitor marines, as well as encountering warp phantoms that would begin to drain holy energy from the most sacred relics of the Ultramarines, their war gear and scrolls. The Grey Knights and Voldus, being more than capable to deal with such an unusual threat, teleported between the multiple loyalist shrines. Fighting alongside the Ultramarines' exasperated chaplains, the Grey Knights would use their experience to banish these warp entities back into the void. An ever-worsening situation, the Imperial forces would become unbelievably then captured by a combined massive force of powerful demons and renegade Red Corsairs. Even the Primarch himself had been captured by means of chaotic spells and seeds of exploitative doubt sown by whispers from Chaos demons through the journey thus far. The Loyalists would then be taken to the Corsairs' stronghold, an ancient black stone fortress. How the fortress could have found its way into the Maelstrom, none of the Loyalist Marines could fathom. This force of Astartes Skitarian Grey Knights now found themselves at the unfortunate pleasures of the Chaos forces, trapped in psychically sealed cells and bound by adamantium restraints. But the Chaos forces didn't want these Loyalists dead yet, and certainly not the Primarch, because their souls were still too rich a source of power for the warp. As is often the case for the forces of Chaos, who are ever part of the God's great game, this instance wouldn't be any exception. For as those within the Blackstone Fortress would suddenly be then caught totally off guard as followers of the God, Rage, War and Bloodletting Khorne would descend on the fortress.
Fuck.
While the Tzeentch Khorne followers would now fight amongst themselves, Guilliman seized an opportunity to escape was coming into clarity, and this is where a troop of figures would infiltrate the fortress from its central core. Unseen by its preoccupied chaotic forces, these figures would move quickly and quietly through the vast corridors of the ancient alien fortress.
Aldari?
The Corsairs guarding Guilliman and other critical figures like Cole and Voldus, though, had the only entrance to the sorceress prisons guarded securely. Yet the mysterious figures slipped into the chambers from unseen side entrances. It was only when the Corsairs were suddenly and brutally engaged with whirling blades and decapitating eviscerations that it became clear who had penetrated their defences.
It's those Holocron Aldari things.
The Eldar subset known as the Harlequins. limbs strewn across the floors, internal organs turned to soup in seconds thanks to the Harlequins' wrist-mounted kisses that punctured the fine weak points of the Renegade Marines' armour. The Corsairs were no match and barely had time to react at all before they were elegantly slaughtered. Ultimately though, it would be the Dark Angel's Fallen Angel Cypher who would release Guilliman, a figure that was shadowy and is very difficult to summarise here in short form. It's well enough that he is a controversial figure for the Imperium. With Chaos forces continuing to battle and surround the fortress, the Loyalists had few options as to how to escape, and after securing their war gear, they made for the Eldar Webway Gate that was located at the centre of the Blackstone Fortress, and had allowed the Harlequins to initially enter this location. Now, however, reaching this was becoming ever more difficult, as the Chaos forces had begun to become aware of what was transpiring. Things were looking darker and hope was fading for the forces, even with the support of the powerful Grey Knights, the Primarch Astartes, Skitarii and Harlequins. The combined sheer volume of them was not enough to combat the power of the Chaos forces that now choked the corridors of the fortress. There was simply too much even for this powerful Loyalist force and the variety of unique individuals it held. However, their salvation would be delivered through the hands of shadowy, ghostly figures who emerged from spectral fire erupting around the Chaos Defenders. Clad in black and bone-embellished armour were the fabled and mythical Legion of the Damned, a force of rarely seen and greatly feared warriors whose origin and goals for many throughout the galaxy are a myth and a mystery. Staying in line with what is known of the Legion, they always appear at critical moments in battle where all can be won or lost, and for the Loyalists this instance was no exception. Unleashing devastating fire upon the shocked Chaos forces, the black skeletal figures wrapped in the fire that licked around their armour, a path was quickly punched through the Chaos forces, allowing Guilliman's force to advance quickly through. Yet now another massive battle would ensue as they reached the central chamber of the Blackstone Fortress, some 100 miles in diameter. The Loyalists would now endure a battle against both forces of Tzeentch and Khorne combined. Voldus and his Grey Knights would lead an eviscerating advance, cutting through demons and Chaos forces alike, with Dread Knights raining down crushing, furious blows of burning purity on the abominations of the warp, while the spectral warriors of the Legion of the Damned held a solid rearguard to prevent chaotic forces fully surrounding the Loyalists. Harlequins spun all around them, cutting through the horrors of the Immaterium with grace and ease, while the Imperium's combined force of Grey Knights, Skitarii, Inquisition and other Astartes continued their shunting, punching, solid assault through the enemy. As the fighting became ever more intense, with a greater demon of Khorne now leaping across the battle to crash down upon the last of the Black Templars, soon to turn his attentions to the Legion of the Damned, sweeping them aside as broken embers. Guilliman could see things were beginning to quickly unravel, and so they would make a final, desperate push for the Webway portal. Awaiting the last of the Imperial forces, Guilliman would find himself engaged with the demon in a circling whirlwind of flame. But now, having to fight the demonic rage that was building in the Primarch, he was losing control of his legendary composition, and it was only when he was able to push down these unnatural feelings of rage and strengthen his mind that he could attain the clarity to disengage from the demon and, using the Emperor's sword, strike it back. In a final shot of perfect execution, the Primarch would fire his few remaining bolts at the demon, who was now apoplectic at the Emperor's son evading his grasp and his glory. The Primarch's bolts from his pistol met the black sword of the Black Templars that had been embedded in the demon, and the blade would shatter, shredding and rending the demon apart. With this final feat, the Loyalists would enter the Webway.
Guilliman being a boss, bro.
The Grey Knights had taken the most minimal of losses compared to many of the other Loyalist elements of the Primarch's force. For obvious reasons, their martial skills and invulnerability to demonic assault stood to protect them well, but this journey so far had been fraught with failure from start to finish. This crusade to terror is a good example of how, despite the Grey Knights' legendary powers and discipline, they're still only capable of so much. When facing devastating numbers of enemy, they can only engage so many at a time, and so impressive as they are far from invincible or able to save all situations. The Grey Knights have a very specific function within the Imperium, albeit a function that they excel at, and are best employed as a precision tool more than a heavy-hitting hammer. The Loyalists and their attached troop of Eldar now find themselves in a vague, incomprehensible space where their surroundings made little sense. The Webway. Eldar scouts were reporting back saying there were signs of heavily armed Chaos Marines wearing blue and gold. The undeniable description of the Tzeentch Chaos Marines of Magnus the Red and the Thousand Sons. Guilliman needed assistance to see his way out of this situation. It was clear that Magnus and his sons were plotting some incursion, but he couldn't see the truth of it. One thing he was sure of, though, was that this had been orchestrated by Magnus, and that the forces of Tzeentch had allowed them to escape to this Webway portal, and that there was still yet a bigger event at stake that they had to urgently reveal. The Grey Knight Master, Aldrich Voldus, would again display his indispensable role, drawing on the knowledge and wisdom of the Grey Knight's Titan libraries. He would recall that there was a warded entrance within the Webway to the Imperial Palace, and this was closed with any number of powerful psychic seals, but the fact of the situation they found themselves in led Voldus to surmise that this seemed a very likely threat that couldn't be ignored. With this information, Guilliman made the leap in understanding that Magnus likely knew of the Webway gate location and hoped that it was going to be unlocked to allow Guilliman passage, and that he was intending to use this as a way to enter Terra, that he could exploit this opportunity and break through to strike at the very heart of the Imperium. Reaching Terra now seemed an impossible task. They couldn't risk attempting to use the gate and allowing Magnus and his forces access to Terra. Before they could safely reach their destination, though, they were beset on all sides by the Rubric Marines of the Thousand Sons, who were bolstered by the horrific Tzeentch demons known as Zangors. Aldrich Voldus and his Grey Knights would lead in engaging these abominations and wreak havoc against the creatures of the warp and traitors alike, smashing their bodies and obliterating them with arcs of whirlwind speed, battering the automaton Marines to clouds of dust, and burning and shredding the demons with purity and psychic fire. Despite the passionate fight being displayed by his forces, Guilliman knew they had to get out of this situation, as they had no other means of escape, nor could they afford to be trapped here for any length of time. The Eldar would now again assist the Loyalists by opening a Webway gate that had lain secret for millennia, a gate and Webway path leading directly to Luna, the natural moon of Terra. Their journey, though, was only partly successful, because despite their best efforts to evade Magnus, he was still able to partially breach their Webway path back to Luna, as Rubric Thousand Sons Marines tumbled out of the Webway gate, driven and controlled by Chaos Sorcerers on their flying discs. And here, on the surface of the moon, with Earth shining in the background, they battled across its dust-strewn surface. Voldus and his Grey Knights would lead this fight using their powerful psychic abilities to resist the Rubric Marines of the Thousand Sons, the mindless automatons that were once the Thousand Sons Marines but now fight as puppets for their sorceress commanders. Voldus and his Grey Knights would hold a major battle until reinforcements could arrive to finally banish Magnus and his chaotic forces back into the Webway gate. Voldus would rip and literally tear them to pieces with the psychic fury of his mind, and the Loyalists would see what the true strength and power of the Grey Knights was on this day. The Thousand Sons piled in heaps of shredded armour in the craters of Luna, aided by the remnants of Eldar Harlequins who cut through the living and the animated alike. Now, though, the Loyalists would face the demon Primarch of the Thousand Sons, Magnus the Red. Winged and wrapped in purple flame, his forces were without warning now able to push forward, seemingly immune to all that was thrown against them, and Magnus was enveloping them with psychic shields. Many Loyalists were sent reeling and crushed under the weight of this advance, shattering them and leaving some at the mercy of the demonic hordes. Even for the Grey Knights in their dread nights, they were unable to counter such a powerful champion of the warp. He sent them reeling, burning out their psychic wards and crushing their exposed armour. Tearing through reality with his staff, he would unleash waves.
Okay, this answers the question we had at the beginning of the video about Magnus going up against the Grey Knight. It seems like Magnus is pretty powerful enough that not even the Grey Knights can really withstand him.
Of Tzeentch demons from the exposed warp that crashed like a wave of cackling nightmares upon the ever more precarious Loyalist forces. Guilliman could again see things were quickly turning against them and could not allow Magnus to win this battle. least of all because of its proximity to Terra and the Emperor. As the Primarch soared high with his flaming blade of the Emperor, Magnus attempted to retaliate with incantations, but too late. Guilliman struck down on the traitor, and Magnus, while able to parry it, could not withstand the focused fury of the Ultramarines' master as the blow took Magnus reeling backward and out of the centre of the fight. Facing off against one another and battling a vicious, close-quarter fight of sparking blades and blue energy bursts of psychic flame, dodging and weaving, the two brothers battled on until Guilliman was able to deliver a powerful, thundering uppercut. Taken aback by this assault, Magnus and Guilliman would speak to the misconceptions of the other as to their loyalties, but it would take Magnus only moments to reassert his focus in the service of the Dark Entities. And this time, Guilliman would take the brunt of a violent downward thrust by Magnus and his glaive, engulfing the Primarch with agonizing psychic flame. Leaping from the certainty of death, Guilliman was able to escape this psychic punishment, only for Magnus to rend metal from a broken ship wreckage that littered the surface of Luna, bringing it crushing down and burying the wounded Lord of Ultramar. But he would not be defeated, not on this day, and not again fail in his duties to the Emperor and the Imperium, not by these puppets of the dark creatures of the Immaterium. Guilliman burst up through the tomb of wreckage, and throwing aside massive chunks of metal debris, he leapt out back into the fray. Surging with fury and newfound strength, Guilliman set his eyes on Magnus, who, seeing the Primarch so soon after he'd buried him, was taken aback. But as he readied a new spell to hurl at Guilliman, the skies would burst with fire. Grandmaster Voldus would see this sight and praise the Emperor, as Imperial fire would begin to rain down upon the enemies of mankind. The Grey Knights and other loyalists had held unbreakable defensive bastions against the nightmarish hordes, but now the golden relief they sought was delivered to them, and the tide would begin to turn in their favour. The Imperial Navy and Adeptus Custodes had arrived to rain down on the Dark Entities with energy and physically shattering bombs, tearing through the hordes of Tzeentch entities and Rubric Marines alike. As the Custodes arrived to begin engaging the enemy, Aldrich Voldus seized this moment to turn their defense into an offense, and he and his psychically attuned battle brothers would roar out onto the battlefield, delivering burning fury to the now shell-shocked forces of chaos. Voldus would lead his Grey Knights and Dread Knights in a powerful charge, rending through the enemy. His full Nemesis force weapon smashing apart demons and traitors alike. Psychic lightning danced all around the knights as they became a truly holy sight to behold, their purity protecting them from any possible counter by the Tzeentch hordes and chaos sorcerers. The Knights of the Emperor and the Sigillite would make these horrors of the warp understand what true horror was. They continued to battle through the swathes of enemy, crushing the Rubric Marines into piles of compacted, crushed metal and dust, while simultaneously burning away the souls and manifestations of the warp, literally tearing their spirits apart with psychic fury and white-hot purity, their very presence burning and irradiating all that dared to assault them. As bright yellow drop pods...
Wait, what do you mean as long as the Custodes don't turn traitor again? Isn't Custodes also completely uncorruptible? I'm pretty sure that's what we learned when we watched the Custodes video. They cannot be corrupted. They are so steadfast in their service to the Emperor. There's just no... there's nothing to become traitor about for the Custodes. They serve the Emperor and only the Emperor. But the latest Horus Heresy book taught us different. Latest Heresy book has them spazzing out a bit at one point, and a couple apparently were corrupted, but it's a bit controversial. Well, there was one time on Horus' ship. Fuck, okay.
Began to smash into the surface of the moon, and Imperial fists Astartes began to burst out onto the surface, bolters blazing and rapid-fire volleys against the traitors and whirling sorcerers. Imperial victory was assured. Through the help of the Eldar and the Custodes who had arrived, as well as squads from the Sisters of Silence, Magnus's powers could be somewhat curtailed, allowing Guilliman to finally battle the demonic entity on a more even field of battle. Their one-on-one fight raged on, but through the whispers of the Eldar, Guilliman was able to coordinate his exhausting assault on Magnus, not allowing him any opportunity to compose himself. Both injured and both nearing the limits of their abilities, giving one another not even an inch of breathing space, the Primarch laid down blow after blow upon Magnus, finally slamming into Magnus with a crashing shoulder blow to the chest, which sent Magnus spiraling down. Finally, with one massive last assault, Gulliman would roar in rage, hatred, and fierce loyalty to the Imperium of Man as he drove forward, slipping Magnus's guard and embedding the burning sword through the chest of the traitor Primarch. Magnus, screaming in burning agony, would unleash a counter shockwave of uncontrollable psychic fury that sent Gulliman and his blade reeling backward. Magnus himself, though, was also sent stumbling back from the power of this shockwave unwittingly into the webway gate. The plan that the Eldar had seen was all playing out, and now breaking the runestone, they severed the webway gate, leaving Magnus cut off and banished. Had Magnus been destroyed? Gulliman wished it so, but he did not believe it.
Wait,
Voldus,
but
his brothers and others...
if he pierced Magnus's chest with the sword, doesn't the sword sever a soul? Wouldn't that have killed Magnus on the spot almost? Because that's what the sword does. It's the Emperor's sword. It's permadeath. It should have, but plot armor? Ah, okay. That makes sense.
Other allies would return to the Imperial Palace on Terra, where in front of the Imperial Eternity Gate, many would reach out in sheer awe to the returning Primarch, as well as the Grey Knights and Grand Master. Gulliman would now be able to take his place as Lord Commander of the Imperium and prepare a massive counter-offensive against the forces of chaos. There would be little doubt that Aldrich Voldus and the Grey Knights Order would join the Primarch and now leader of the Imperium in this quest to face down the darkness of the Chaos forces and reap a terrible vengeance upon them. The scale of their task, given the dire nature of events, looked insurmountable, but this was the dawn of a new dark period in Imperial history. The Grey Knights have the power and purity to resist all that the darkest entities of the warp can unleash upon humanity, and so, in these darkest and most uncertain of times, it is the Grey Knights who stand as the unmovable force, as spoken in the Emperor's own words. They are my bulwark against the terror, they are my Space Marines, and they shall know no fear.
In our quest to stem the demon tide, there is no price we shall not pay, no sacrifice too great. If we must extinguish the light of 1 trillion souls each day to safeguard the Imperium, we shall gladly be about the task. To do aught else would be heresy. Shit. Smoke Monkey, how you doing, bro? Newton's videos is absolutely next level, man. His use of music, his use of ambience, it's next level. No wonder it takes him about a month to make a video. Are there any good Warhammer movies? Disney, how you doing, bro? Not yet, but our Lord and Savior, Henry Cavill, is busy making one, so hopefully soon. TM? If you're talking about cinematics, that's a different story. There's incredible cinematics about Warhammer, but no movies yet. Although they have started with the Warhammer Cinematic Universe, so we might be getting a WCU soon. Marine movie, but yeah, it sucks. There is one official one. It's called Ultramarines, but the CGI is very bad. No, then no thanks. I don't want to watch it if it's not going to do justice. But then again, Does News, have you ever read 40K books? Astartes is amazing. Have you ever seen the Astartes video? Canal. Okay, no. Have you seen the video literally just called Astartes? I'll show you. Yeah, you've seen Astartes. All right. As long as you've seen Astartes, that's good. Because, I mean, that's fan-made, and that is just absolutely off the charts. But we have Henry Cavill. He's dropping it like it's hot right now in Hollywood, making the proper movies that everyone wants to see. It is sexual. And it's so sad that there's not an Astartes 2. Like, a second Astartes movie. Because, oh my god. Bro, the level of shit that this could be turned into. The trailer for Ultramarines? Yeah, we can watch the trailer. They charge for this as well.
You are about to receive the honor of going into combat as Ultramarines.
Bro, what the actual fuck? Although this is 10 years ago, but I'm pretty sure 10 years ago cinematics looked better than this. Yeah, it fucking did. Like, we can go back, like, bro, we can do this, right? So let's look at, if you do Wrath of the Lich King, which is 13 years ago, this is what graphics could look like. Already 13 years ago, this is what they could do. You telling me that's the best they could do?
Arthas.
This is 13 years ago. Now, look at these graphics. Let's just. So look at these graphics and then compare it to this 10 years ago. I mean, come on. They didn't even try. They weren't even fucking trying, bro.
You must be steel. You must be doomed. We march to face down chaos and banish it. We march for Macragge, and we shall know no fear.
If it is tainted by the war, I will kill it.
How do you recognize the taint of chaos?
Here they come.
Hold position for the Emperor!
I fear no evil. I fear no death. For the Emperor will protect me.
This looks like the kind of movie that a guy made one afternoon because he was bored, but he also loves 40K. And he just thought, fuck it, I'll just very quickly make a movie here. It doesn't look like a Warhammer. Like, this company makes so much fucking money. And yet, yeah, they basically just refuse to spend any of it. This is annoying. Especially considering the fact that it's a Blu-ray trailer. It's like, bro, what the fuck about this is Blu-ray? Like, it's not even high def. Like, what are you talking about Blu-ray? There's not even high definition here. It's better than this one, but it came out 6 years ago. The Lord Inquisitor fan cinematic. I think we may have reacted to that before, but let's see. Yeah, we did react to this one. We did react to it.
Hi guys, welcome to Counterpoints. My name is Connor, and today we're going to be reviewing Cadia Stands. It's a Hammer and Bolter episode. We'll read this real quick. Alone we stand as bastions.
Why can't I just react to the original? Why must I watch the reaction to the thing? Where's the original? Warhammer fans did buy this. They made a couple of British blogs in a pub and were like, you know, CGI, you're hired. Because it's official Games Workshop stuff. Behind a paywall on Warhammer Plus. But then how can he react to it if it's behind paywall? Wouldn't Games Workshop shut this down immediately? I don't know. I believe he's under the radar. I mean, 188,000 views is not under the radar, especially if you consider most of the copyright tracking stuff is automatic. It's not done by employees that work for Games Workshop. I'll tell you guys. So let me explain it like this. You know the Luton video we just watched? Yeah? So I have a subscription to Epidemic Sound. Cost me $15 a month. Why do I have that subscription? Because it is impossible to react to a single video about Warhammer 40K without that subscription. Within seconds of that video being uploaded, it immediately copyrights. Because all the music that is used in the Warhammer 40K videos from almost every creator comes from Epidemic Sound. And it's all automatic. It's not like, you know, the Epidemic Sound guys are sitting there watching for every single fucking video. It just happens automatically. The copyright AI picks it up immediately. Oh, wait, this is copyrighted. You don't have a license to play this music? Yeah. I pay $15 a month so that we can react to Warhammer videos. Otherwise, we're not allowed. That explains why reaction still works. It depends, Benny, because you're not allowed to react to just anything. So, for example, Warhammer, even though I have a Netflix account, so I pay for Netflix every month, we would not be allowed to watch any of the Netflix series live on this channel. We would instantly get copyrighted because the subscription is not a license. You're just paying a subscription to watch the show. The Epidemic $15 a month is a license. So I literally buy the license to gain access to the music. Now, it's not all bad because I actually use a lot of the music for my videos. Comes from Epidemic Sound themselves. It's just weird that Warhammer, like Games Workshop, wouldn't shut down a reaction to their shit. I agree. I think copyright is, it's just gone completely mental. Look, I'm not saying that people should not have the right to protect what is theirs, right? I'm not saying that a streamer should have the right to watch an entire movie on their stream, but there are cases where it's just completely gone balls to the wall. Like, for example, in streams, we're forced to listen to music on Pretzel Rocks. Because if I listen to any other music, we'll get copyrighted. We'll get DMCA'd and eventually we'll lose access to the channel. So I'm forced to listen to music that is YouTube safe first and foremost, but then also that cuts out a lot of music, and then the rest of it I pay for so that I can listen to it on Twitch. The fact that I press this button and music comes through is only possible because I pay for it, right? I could go the free version, but then I get ads, and I think the last thing we want to do is sit, and listen to fucking ads. It's annoying, because if you think about it, how is music... If I listen to a Linkin Park song on stream while we were chatting, so it's just playing in the background at this level, where you can hear the music, but it's not loud, it's very sort of in the background. How is that stealing the song? Is this a good way for you guys to listen to this song? Like, would you say that this is fine? You don't... If you actually wanted to hear this song, would this be the way to listen to it? Obviously not, right? If you really wanted to listen to the song, you would have to go to that song, pause this or mute this and listen to the fucking song. Most Joel, yeah, pretty much. The same 5 fucking songs on YouTube Shorts, TikTok all the fucking time? Yeah. Because of copyright. Because the music industry just... It has this incredible power over everything that it produces, to the point where even when artists say that it's fine for people to listen to their music on Twitch, the music industry blocks it. Because it's not fine as far as they're concerned. By God waste, but that's not the point. We're literally disputing that very fact now. We're not saying why can't we do it. We understand that there's licensing that goes on. What we're saying is that the licensing is completely and utterly fucking ridiculous. So let's talk about licensing rights. Let's say you wanted to play the newest Beyonce song on stream, and you wanted to buy the license for that song. Take a guess. How much do you think that costs? Up to $100,000 for the rights to actually be able to play one song. Not all songs. One song. That's why whenever a new song comes out on the radio, you hear that song over and over and over and over and over again. Because they have to make the most of the $100,000 that they just dropped in order to get access to that song. So they're going to be playing the living fuck out of it. I mean, they spend $100,000 on the license. So it's completely untenable. And I don't believe that it's actually helping artists. Look, I'm not saying that I should be able to sit here, turn the music up. So this should not be allowed. If I were to do this, that should not be allowed, right? Because I'm now literally just playing the music while I'm sitting here doing fuck all. In that case, yeah, absolutely. That person needs a license if that's what they're going to do. But if you're playing the music as background music and you're sitting here chatting to your audience or whatever, how is that like... I can't see how that is an advertisement for the music. Because there's been multiple times where I would hear a song way back in the day when actual good music was still being played on streams, where I would hear a song on stream and I would then go look for the song because it sounded like a good song and I wanted to hear what the song was about. Because you can't really listen to the song when the stream's going. All the fucking songs by heart, and they changed like 2 songs out of 30 per month because of license fees. Probably stop people abusing it, pretending to talk about something really quietly while broadcasting the song. Again, you can train AI to pick that shit up. It's not hard. AI is pretty advanced these days. You could train AI to clean that shit up and to pick that up. I don't know. It's just, it's super annoying. At least in my opinion. But I'm not suggesting that there should be no ads or no licensing, because I think that would also be stupid. You know, if you produce something, you should have the right to it. And you should have the right not to have it be abused. But, you know, fucking screaming into the void isn't going to do much, is it? People shut their ears when they drive by my house? Like, technically speaking, that's fine, right? Because you're not actually broadcasting it, Seven Raven. You're just listening to it very loudly, which is apparently fine. You're just not allowed to broadcast it. Alton, but then you take, like, the number of people that fucking... Like, the number of artists that actually get fucked over by the music industry. And you ask yourself, well, what the hell is the point of this? No, I mean, the easy fix is just remove licensing, but then you create a whole new level of fucked, right? Because then you will end up with people just stealing shit. It's hypocritical, even if it's harder IRL. If they really cared about copyright, then there would be something in place. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Oh, shit. I just clicked off of something there that probably was important. So, okay, this game was gifted to me by Sun Goddess over on Steam. I have never played this. I have no idea. This is not even one of those games like Big Ambition where I saw a review of it and thought it looks really fucking good. This is just, yeah, one of those games that was gifted to me, and we're gonna try it out and see what it's like. I genuinely don't know what to expect from it. I do know it's loud as all hell. A small step for the first colonists, but a giant leap for mankind. The shuttle has landed and your people are ready to settle on the Red Planet. Everyone on the ship is aware of the historic importance of this mission and the great responsibility resting upon their shoulders. Their lives will be spent beneath the dome of artificial habitats, but they are not here for themselves. They are here for the future of the human race. It will be a long time before a human can breathe Martian air, but everyone is willing to work tirelessly to make that day arrive. Earth has sent resources to start the settlement and proposes some leaders to represent you on Mars. Good luck. All right. Mars, the new frontier. The Red Planet offers many opportunities for those seeking a new life. Your goal is to create a self-sustaining colony that provides pleasant conditions for a human population who may one day even become independent. When this bar is full, victory is achieved. While developing your colony, pay attention to the support of your people. If it reaches 0, the Mars colonization project will be deemed a failure. Keep your people support by constructing buildings that provide support, growing your population, and terraforming the planet. Every few years, the expectations of the colonists will rise. You will need to keep them satisfied for this mission to be a success. Let's start by choosing a leader. Okay. We have Pikai Ayad, expertise politics. Pikai started as a young activist for women's rights in Afghanistan and won a Nobel Peace Prize for her efforts. When the Mars colonization project was announced, she decided to leave Earth behind, hoping to mold the emerging Martian society according to her vision. While her influence guaranteed equality of opportunity for all Martian settlers, her zealous crusade for justice afforded her a reputation of cynicism in the name of the greater good. Or we can go for Thomas Foster, exploration. Thomas made the headlines for his daring expeditions to Earth's most remote locations and joined the Mars colonization project to unveil the Red Planet's Terra Incognita. He climbed Mount Everest in his early 20s, explored the harsh landscapes of Antarctica and the Sahara Desert, and mapped out previously undiscovered underwater caves. The mountainous landscapes and harsh conditions of Mars offer the perfect challenge for the seasoned explorer. I think we go for the exploration one, right? Because he gives us resources. It's only 2 leaders we can choose from, so... She gives us... This is so weird. He's the explorer. Oh, they both give us exploration. Interesting. Both of them give exploration, but she can give us industrial lobbying, as well as interclass dialogue center. He gives us the supply station and mine resources. Yeah, fuck it. We'll go with him. Nice to meet you. I'm Thomas Foster. Let's get to work. Increasing the population would let us expand our city and get some initial support. Population requires food. Earth has kindly provided us with the essential projects to produce food and grow our population. Let's visit our city where we can construct the greenhouse farm. Which one is my fucking city? This one. Oh, nice. This is our first Martian city. Here we can construct buildings. The maximum amount of buildings the city can have is shown above the city. Where? It's shown above the city. Am I just not looking? So if I look at planet view, it doesn't show it here. If I click here. Oh, here we go. So we can have a maximum of 5 buildings. At this point, at least. Rather balanced than Space Greta. Unfortunately, Mars will never be self-sufficient. Master Jarl, what makes you think that? Humans are phenomenal fucking beings, bro. The maximum amount of buildings the city can have, them, population, and robots. To construct a new building, select a project and drag it to the place you want to build it. Let's build the greenhouse farm now. Right. So we have the greenhouse farm. Where would we put it? I'm assuming close to the city is probably better. Let's go close to the city. All right. As you might have noticed, constructing a project costs resources. We should explore the nearby locations to prospect for more resources. Ideally, we should find a resource deposit and set up a mine. One of my skills is explore the location with a large hint of a resource. Okay. I'm assuming like this. We first need to prioritize finding a resource deposit. But this is a fucking resource deposit. What are you talking about? If Matt Damon can survive living there by growing potatoes in his own shit, then I'm sure Elon will come up with something a bit more robust. Mothy Pants, how you doing? Great video you put out today. Mothy Pants, thank you very much. Which channel though? Because I didn't put any videos out on the main channel. I did do one yesterday, but I didn't have time today. I had to go buy a new fucking toothbrush because my toothbrush broke this morning, so I had to go buy a new one. The one about Mythic Plus. Oh yeah, that was yesterday. I'm really happy to hear you liked it. Is of scientific interest. The resource survey of the area has revealed a deposit of silicates. We can collect the samples recovered while prospecting. Okay. Now we have more. And we can end our turn. We need to expand our city to the location with the deposit before we can build a mine on it. Each population or robots allows your city to expand to one more location. We don't have enough food at the moment to build the habitation module project that increases our population, but as our greenhouse farm produces 1 food per turn, we will have enough food next turn. Let's end the turn by pressing the circular button at the bottom right of the screen. I hate this hand-holding bullshit. Okay, now we get to choose one. Each year, 3 projects will be proposed from which you can research one. Researching project allows you to construct it later. Okay. Laboratory tritium thermogenerator or a tuber farm? Adjacent population provides -1 support per turn. So this produces power. This produces food. I'm gonna go with power for this one, because I think power is important. We can't... Okay, we have to build... What's the habitat module? Both population and robots... Fuck me, must be built in a city. Housing for +1 population. Comfort of living. +1 support. So where do we build housing? Maybe as far away as possible? Let's do it there. Oh, here we go. 1 million people will use up the water in like 10 years. You need easy access to Earth or Europa. But this is the thing. Necessity is the mother of all invention. So I'm pretty sure it will eventually... We will eventually have Mars come up with a way to create its own water. The thing we have to figure out first, and I really hope Elon Musk is thinking about this, is do we have the technology to actually terraform a planet? Because I don't actually think we have the technology for that. I know Elon Musk has this theoretical idea. You nuke the 2 poles of Mars. So you basically create giant nuclear explosions on both of the poles, which then should, in theory, create an electric magnosphere, and then you can start building an atmosphere. I mean, that's of course purely theoretical. I don't think it's ever been fucking tried. Let's go explore. Alright, so nothing but red rocks covering a flat plain as far as the eye can see. After a bit of cleanup, this will be a perfect location for a large building. The resource survey in the area has revealed small hints of silicon tritium. We can collect the samples. Right, so again, let's skip the turn. Another farm or another thermo generator. Dude, we're gonna need water at some point. You don't think it has tried nuking 2 poles of a planet to make an atmosphere, really? Have we tried that, Mr. Demoria? I don't think we have. Let's get another one of these. And then... Okay, we need to find silica. Not silica, that green shit. Tritium. The resource prospecting location has revealed a deposit. Here we go. This is what I wanted. This is where we have to come first, I think, because I kind of need this shit. I can build this generator now, but at the same time, I'll lose people if I build this generator here. I don't know how far, like how much support do you actually lose? Like, okay, so there you lose it, there you don't. Okay, never mind. So as long as it's far enough away from them, they don't give a fuck. Do we need power right now? I don't actually know. How do you see how much power you have? Here we go. So we have power. We actually do have more than enough power. Alright, it's fine. Let's plop it down there. Let's remove just some of this shit that we don't need. Put it next to Grofal's house. He won't care. It's for the greater good. Grofal will absolutely care. What are you talking about? Earth has established a permanent trade route with us. With regular traffic between the two planets, we can expect our new colony to burgeon and grow as long as we make the journey worthwhile for Earthborn travelers. Great. A laboratory. This will cost nitrates and silicates, and it gives us 1 science per turn. What the fuck? I'm not getting... I need a mine. Let's do the laboratory, I guess. I have to expand to a location. How do I expand to a location? You need to control the location to build here. To expand, you can first increase the population. How much does my population need to be? With our mining operation set up, we have gained a little more autonomy, but we are still missing some other resources. They can be acquired via the trade route Earth has set up for us. Okay. But I need to expand to a fucking location first. Is this how you do it? No. How do you build a mine? How do you... Okay, I'm so lost here, bro. When you hover over it, it doesn't tell you how many, like, people you need. Small humans might not even be able to have children until we develop Dragon Ball gravity rooms. Isn't Mars larger than Earth, though? It's smaller than Earth. Interesting, I didn't even know that. To be fair, though, considering the fact that more than 70% of Earth is water, and Mars is no water, ain't that bad. You could probably make it work. Okay, we have no water. No way of fucking getting water. And I don't know how to expand. I think you need 30, he said, in order to expand to a place. Oh, he gave me a little bit of that. Oh, that's nice of you, fam. Really appreciate that. Doesn't sound right. It's only half the size. Did it have to be a lot smaller to do that? Mars could apparently submerge in our ocean. I heard they found a huge underground sea that's 3 times bigger than the surface oceans on Earth. On Mars. Okay. I didn't know that either. Shows you how much I know. On Earth. Yeah, but Earth has a massive underground ocean. That I'm pretty sure most people know. So we can trade this if we wanted to. Or import it. But how do you... Apparently we can't trade it. So never you fucking mind. We can't build any of this, so we may as well just... Here we go. A university. A robot hub. Dude, how do I get water in this fucking place? This uses a lot of electricity, though. That would use all my fucking electricity. It's not that I hate hand-holding. Well, I do hate hand-holding. But that's not the point. See, all of this shit is just the wrong shit. That's water. It says there's water here. The resource prospects of this location has revealed a small deposit of silicates as well as small hints of water. The samples we've recovered. Why not? Let's collect that. It's more that... So this is basically like a card game. You get these cards every turn and you have to make it fucking work. I only have 2 water and I'm not getting any new water. My population is growing though. We'll soon be able to expand. And then we can build our first mine. If we, of course, fucking get to that. What's this? Oh, yeah. I'm gonna go and say... let's take that. It's fine. Exploration efforts. Earth delivered an array of exploration satellites to the Martian orbit. This allows us to map out remote regions from the comfort of our homes without having to send an exploration team into the unknown. With this powerful tool, the Red Planet's secrets shall soon be revealed. Alright, that's good. An entertainment center, another thermo generator, and another greenhouse farm. Okay, none of this is actually working for me. Probably going to need more food, so we may as well. These satellites will be especially useful for exploring distant locations as they don't consume any power. Select a location to consume or to... I need water, so may as well go there. Small hints of water again. The team discovered a lost batch of supply crates. Oh, well... Thank you very much. There has to be water here. Because that's a big one. See that? It's got a large hints of water. So that's the one we really want. Go there. 6 water. And it's got an aquifer. I don't know what the hell that is, but it's water, so that's all that matters. Now we can expand our city. Click to expand your city to an adjacent location. Since we have to get to water, we have a couple of choices. We can expand to year first to get silicates. Or, because this will take us 1, 2, 3 expansions, 4 expansions to get there. Whereas this one will take us 3 expansions to get there. 1, 2, 3. I don't... Oh, it's for... This is why I hate... hand-holding. Zachar, how you doing, bro? Because it's forcing me to take one of these two. I can't make the optimal choice for what I think would be the best choice. Okay, let's get a mine there. Great. We have a mine. Wow. This offers 1 tritium per ton. Oh, we have enough water to build another greenhouse farm. Don't mind if I do. Right, there we go. Now we're getting shit tons of food. Must be. Only 2 per ton, chat. Hold on to your hats, fam. As the colony grows and basic amenities become more common, so do people's expectations. The hardships of the early years are soon forgotten, and a warm bed, nourishing food, and regular entertainment are no longer considered luxuries but requirements for a comfortable life. Your hardworking colonists expect their work to pay off, so it is only natural that their expectations rise as time goes on. There is nothing you can do about it. This is simply human nature at work. We will strive to meet them. The fuck? We barely have things set up and they're already crying about crap. I don't know what to do with these guys, but okay. When's the change in people's expectations? Okay. We can't expand yet, because Sag, I know. But it is what it is. Since we've expanded year, and there's no... I should have expanded year instead. Where do we expand next, chat? Global oxygen zone on the right side of the screen. What? We will need titanium for the robot hub. So I'm assuming we explore this, I guess? Maybe this. The flat plains of this location offer plenty of space for the construction of a large city, but the lack of protective geographic features leaves it vulnerable to harsh winds and sandstorms. This location has a feature which will surely be a symbolic landmark for the people. The resource survey in the area has revealed small hints of power, silicates. We can collect the samples. And we get plus 23 support. Nice. Prefer Interstellar though? That's tremendous. Oh, Interstellar. Well, it was absolutely a phenomenal movie. I rewatched it the other day, actually. It is incredible. So this needs to be built close to other science buildings, but I don't have science buildings. So, at least not yet. Do we build anything else? We can't really build anything else. We can maybe export. Okay, so now we're exporting one of our food per month for 1 water per month. Okay. I don't know how I feel about that, but, you know. More high sci-fi movies? Which one? Master Joel. The ending for Interstellar. Did you find that one to be useless? I don't know if I would agree with that, actually. Because I actually thought it was quite fantastic. Resonance station. A hospital, which will give us support, or another greenhouse farm. But I need 12 science for this one. It does bring happiness, though. We are losing happiness as well. So let's go for that, I guess. galactic portals. Galactic portals are an awesome concept, like Stargate. Apparently, Amazon is bringing back Stargate. You know what series I want to see come back? Oh my god, what's it called again? Fuck! Now I can't remember what it's called. I literally just watched it the other day. Hold up, I'm gonna have to check now. Great Expanse. The Expanse. This one. Dude, I would love The Expanse to come back. This series, if you have not watched it yet, is the most sci-fi shit I've ever seen in my life. It is so good. It is genuinely one of the best sci-fi series I've ever watched. The Expanse. Do yourself a favor. Watch that shit, man. It is good. Okay, so we'll explore. Next step in exploration. Where do we go next? Where do we go next? I do need silica at some point, but I also need titanium. I have silica right there, so I should be able to get there soon-ish. Feature, surely a symbolic landmark for the people. The resource survey has revealed small hints of... Okay. Oh, shit. And some food. Nice. We gained some more food. We made our people a little happier. This is a crater, apparently. We can build a new city here if we wanted to. Books are far better. Master Jal, I don't... Like, better than what? The series? Reacher, not sure if you watched it after I suggested it a while back when you asked for TV shows. What's Reacher about? Because I definitely didn't watch it. Okay, come on. Give me something I can fucking build. So this is Marcia. The population is fully protected from radiation. Both population and robots increase the maximum. That's a huge fucking thing. This is a laboratory. Laboratories are good because they provide science, and we're gonna need science eventually to build some of these other buildings, like this hospital. But I think radiation is also good. In huge moments for the Expanse. Which characters did they cut?
Reacher. Paul Hubble just confessed to the murder. He admitted to things that didn't even happen.
The only way you'll know why Hubble confessed is if he tells you.
Yeah, well, maybe a weekend in lockup will motivate him. Let me know what he says.
The hell does that mean? If you boys knew what's about to happen to you, you'd leave now. So I'll give you to the count of 3. 1.
are you two doing down here? Come on, let's go before the warden sees. Let's go, let's go!
Watch Reacher, February 4th. Only.
Dude. Man does not take shit from anyone. Okay, I might give it a watch. I think you're gonna go for another lab here. Even though I can't build these things yet. So let's explore another far-off location. You know what we need? We need this stuff. Nitrates. But I don't fucking know where I'm gonna get nitrates. I'm assuming we're gonna have to expand. The resource survey has an area revealed the deposit of titanium. Good. Good. I like seeing that. And then you can explore. Maybe. Oh. Well. Small hints of nitrates in water. What does the small hints mean, though? Does the small hints mean that if I set up a mine there, I'm only going to get titanium? Or will I get some nitrates and water from this as well? I'm guessing it's only titanium. I'm not going to get nitrates. Yeah, Demonic Dark. Sadly, I recognize the issues of this. I should probably move the camera a bit. Just so you guys can see what the fuck's going on. Or at least to some extent see what the fuck's going on. There we go. Okay, we still can't build jack shit here. I mean, we can build a university, but we still don't have any science buildings that we can build. We don't have any fucking nitrates. We have the robot thing. Can you export robots? Probably not. But I'm gonna need robots. Okay, there we go. I have robots coming in now as well. Hopefully adding to the population, but I need to build another food farm. If I'm gonna be able to support, well, basically fucking anything. Windmills. And this will give power. A courthouse. +2 comfort of living. And more food, which I can't build. A couple of years ago, I think, Felsmark. Imagine of surviving Mars. This game. My favorite cipher books are currently fantasy. Author Brandon Sanderson is building a universe that will go from swords and magic to galactic space travel and magic. In what universe is he building it, Master Joel? Oh wait, we can actually build this. The courthouse will give some comfort of living. It uses 10 food though, which is a lot. A local government building. Ensuring the rule of law. Oh, now people are getting happy again. What a coinkydink. Why are we bringing politics to Mars? Because apparently the people fucking want it. So what? Who am I to judge, right? Apparently this is what the people want. I'm just giving the people what they want. And I have no idea. Where to explore next? This is a mine. This could be a new city. Scientific interest. Location is of scientific interest. The resource survey of the area revealed small hints. Okay, well, I'll take the science, because why wouldn't I? Oh, shit. We can finally expand again. But now, where do we expand to? We need the water, right? Wait, but every single time you expand far away, it minuses 1? No way! So it makes your people unhappy when you expand far away from their shit. Okay. We can build another city there. Maybe let's just build a mine. We don't have titanium. Balls to the fucking wall, man. Where's my titanium shit then? Can I undo this? I don't want this anymore. I chose the wrong spot. This is tritium, but I don't need tritium. I need titanium. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This is the kind of game that will annoy the living fuck out of me. It's already kind of annoying. Oh, I can expand twice. Never mind. So we need desperately to expand to a place that has titanium. But I have no such places available to me. Actually, there's one. So if we expand there, how do I build a city here? Dike. Adds 1 dike level. Each dike level protects a location against 1 ocean level. Okay. So I don't know what the hell this is, but never mind. We've just wasted what titanium we had. What a nice thing. Did I use? How did I? Where did I mine a resource from? Never mind. We can build the university, but since Well, that will give us at least... You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna bolt this so long. Just so we get some science. We expanded our starting city considerably and should start thinking about founding a new city. Okay, fam. I'll start thinking about that. I don't know how to do that. To found a new city, click on an appropriate city location, such as flat plains, a crater, or a lava tube, and then click the Found City button. So, if I click on this, I can't find a city there. I could find a city here. Do I want to find a city here? Before we find another city. This year marks the beginning of a new term, and it is time to choose a new leader. Oh. Thomas is retiring, boys. He was here for only a few years, and he's already fucking off. Has arrived in Cape Town, so hopefully you'll have it soon. Oh shit, Mr. Demuri, I'm really looking forward to that, man. He sent me a shit ton of stuff. We'll see. We'll definitely check it out. Gustav. Okay, so what does Gustav give me? Energy saving. He generates 5 power, and he innovates. 2 more projects are proposed this turn. Earthworks destroys 2 rocks for free this turn. Receives 2 modular apartment projects. Fuck. Which one is better? This one probably. Another habitation. Or a laboratory. I already have a lab. I don't need another robot hub. Maybe another one of those, just in case. How do you clean it up more? I don't know what the hell I'm doing, boys. Not gonna lie to you, I have no idea what I'm doing. Let's just destroy the rocks. Can't build the lab, because I don't have nitrate. I mean, the box, unless they're on a disc or something. Yeah, I'm looking for... We'll be opening it on stream, so don't worry about that. We will be opening it on stream. Oh my god. We can mine titanium here, but we can't mine titanium here because I don't have titanium to mine the titanium. Chat, do you guys have any idea how fucked we are? In order to build a titanium mine, we need titanium. But we can't get titanium without titanium. This is what I call being caught between a rock and a fucking hard place. Tuesday or Wednesday when I'm in the office, please. I'll let everyone know well ahead of time when we do it, I promise. Oh, he can build modular apartments. Hold the fucking phone. Oh yeah, but I don't have the resources for it. Arizaki, how you doing, bro? Replace with titanium icons above it. You will get a random amount of it. Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I can do right now. When he's fucking his pixel community crew village up. To increase their prestige, 3 big corporations are offering to set up a trade route and supply a city of your choice with a valuable resource. Let's go. Load balancing station. +1 power per turn for every 3 mines owned by the city. A public baths area for more support or more greenhouse. I don't have water, but hey, let's fucking get some public baths going. What did I want to do now? This would actually be a good place to explore, because I need these two in order to build my first lab. Not that I want to build a lab, really, but, you know. 20 support, +3 titanium, +3 silicates. What the fuck? I can't build a mine there, but I can build a city. Although, that's a large hint of titanium right there. Right. Never mind. Never mind, chat. I was wrong. Here's another part where we can get some more silica and more titanium. And there are better places to explore. Not quite. 20 support, 3 silica, 2 titanium. I think we can build our first lab. Yeah, boy. That's a laboratory. Easy. Look at this. Look how much science we're producing now. We could almost start exporting some science. Living life, how you doing, bro? My dream of becoming an algae farmer on Mars? Nope. Just because it's you, I'm not giving you an algae farm. You can suck my dick. What in the fuck is this? Dude, none of this makes any goddamn sense to me. Yeah, let's choose that then. Why can't I build this into a city? Why can't I turn this into an actual fucking city? I can't expand anymore because my population has come to a grinding fucking halt. I do have enough water now for another greenhouse farm. Okay, apparently more food does not produce more people. So how do you get more people? Do I need to build another habitation module? Okay, what do we need? Silica? Maybe this? So far away, though. Like, by the time we get there, I'll be old and fucking gray. Oh shit, more food? Easy. But this means I can build another lab. Or I can build another one of these. Shall we set up another one of these? See if that does anything. still doesn't do fucking... Oh, plus 10. Ooh. Okay. Okay. That's helped. And we can set up another one of these science buildings. That's a lot of science now. We can actually start exporting some of the science and buy some of the shit that we don't have. Or we can export this, because I don't know what the hell tritium is even used for. Apparently I can't. You can only export 2 things at a time. Export and import, I mean. Well, I kind of need the water, so... just fucking leave it at that. Okay, this seems to be all we can do right now. I'm so close, though. Next one, we can build a hospital, which should make people super happy. A tuber farm. Again, this produces just one... What the... I don't understand. Exhaust processor. +1 silicates for every 3 mines owned by the city. If this is an upgraded thing to the hydroponic farm... why does it still only provide 1 food per turn? I mean, we'll take it, because I don't know what else to do. Good amount of that. And we can expand again. Only, I don't know where to expand to. This is probably the best place to expand to so we can get this farm set up. Or this mine, rather. I mean, yes, people are going to be super unhappy. But maybe we should first find a farm, a city here, so that this is not a -2 happiness. What a wasted fucking thing to expand to. How do I turn this? It would be the perfect location for a large building. Of fucking what? Of what? This game is bonkers, bro. Doesn't work. So this gives happiness only to these guys. Huh? Yeah, okay, so this only gives +7 support to 1 guy. I won't lie to you, chat. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Earth suggests we initiate the terraforming process. They provided us with CO2 factory to pump greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. This will be an important first step in increasing the planet's temperature and atmospheric density. Okay. I don't know where to build that, but okay. Robot Ingenuity Center. Robots in the city will provide an extra expansion point, or another laboratory, or an entertainment center. Which again, do I need another entertainment center? The fact that I can't find a city on either of these two makes no sense to me. Like, why is it not possible to build a city here? And where would it be possible? This project must be placed inside a city. What the actual... I definitely need to find one more city so we can start expanding. Maybe found... I don't have enough water for that. Never mind. I'm wasting my time. An anomaly. So where do we explore? What do we need? What do we want to build, chat? And what do we need in order to build it? Could use more nitrate. So we can build one more farm for food. But I should really start building new cities. What do I need for a new city? I need 30 food and 10 water. I can't do shit about the food right now. But I can maybe get some more water. So let's explore this. Actually, no, wait. Let's do... Wait, what do I need again for a new city? 30 food, 10 water. So I do need to make sure that there's traces of water. Oh, that's enough. That's 6 water. That's not bad. Of course, we don't have food, but... And then for this, we can explore... Fuck it, explore that. It's fine. Oh, 10 food. Nice. We can set up a mine. Let's go. Okay, so we finally have some silicates coming in. Yeah, we have silicates coming in. We have no titanium coming in. We do have some water that's coming in every month. Not that that helps much. We have some of this coming in. Food is going slowly. I do think I should... Let's change this quickly. Instead of this, let's export this instead. And then we import water. I think that's a better plan. At least for now. Because these things I actually need. I don't want to not have these things. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, so far I'm not really enjoying this game. A miner's cottage. It's because it's not Outer Wilds? Maybe. +2 atmosphere per turn. A landing pad. Oh, shit, wait. This is actually a good idea. Pop this landing pad right here. This project must be placed on a planet location. Oh, I can put it here. Right? Although the people fucking hate it there. Far away from the city, resulting in -1. But it does give me a landing pad. That gives me an extra trade route. Now, what do we trade, boys? What else? We might actually be able to do this. So do one of those. So we don't need that much science per month. And then instead do another water? Yeah, just because right now water is sort of in short supply. Not a very active game? No, definitely not. I mean, it's good for people that sort of see new games. This is indie night, so we try a different game every week. But it's definitely not a game that I would play in general on stream. Because there really is... this is sort of the game that if you're really bored and you're just sort of in the mood for fucking around, you could probably play this. Because it is nothing more than just a menu clicker. And it's not even really a base building game, because you're not actually building a base. You're not even necessarily thinking that much about logistics. I mean, logistics definitely have a place here, but it's nowhere near... as logistical. Yeah, it's like it almost reminds me of FIFA Manager. It reminds me of that. It's like very similar to FIFA Manager. CO2 factory. Of course, we don't have that yet. Always nitrates, bro. Always fucking nitrates. Another thermo generator for more power, or a cultured meat lab. No. How in the does everything only provide one food per ton? Like, what exactly is the play here? I do not understand this. I mean, I can bold this to give us more food, which is something we desperately kind of need, because we need 30 food to really kick this off, but feels like such a fucking waste. Okay, so now we have 4 food coming in every turn. And those are 2 Lalafals are sticking me up, demanding cookies. Cookies for what? Or rather, what cookies are they demanding? Sandstorm makes the exploration of this location difficult. A sandstorm, right? Let's not explore places that have sandstorms, shall we? Just stay the fuck away from that. Oh my god. Why is there so many sandstorms? Everyone hates the places with sandstorms. I don't understand what the fuck's going on. Oh, wow. We can find a city here if we can ever get to a place where we expand again. All adjacent locations need to be explored before you can settle in this location. Oh, so I have to explore this bit too. I could build a tuber farm as well, but that would really ruin my plans. I can't believe we only have one spot that provides electricity here. I think it was a robbery. They scooted off now when I gave them cookies. But what cookies, Crowfile? Gate Dinococcus. Scientists are making progress on adapting life to Martian conditions through bioengineering. Bacteria spreader. Minimum requirement 0 temperature. Requires at least 1 land location in the climate zone. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what this does, but okay. Roguelike, the new Have a Nice Day, Have a Nice Death is pretty good. What's it about? A school or a research center. We can definitely take this. Okay, we have the water now. What we don't have is the food. So I guess we'll just keep going as we are. We have one territory that needs to be explored before we can find another city. This is another place for a city. Nice. Geothermal hotspot. Oh shit, what do you do here? You can build a geothermal power plant or a spa resort. Why would I build a spa resort? Excuse me. But what? It costs 8 water to build. No. I'm not building... I'll build a power station there. No fucking problem. But yeah, this is nonsense. You see, now this could be really good. It provides +1 heat per turn, but I will lose support. Is this necessary? Should we do this? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, so may as well just go for it, right? I don't know what half of this shit is supposed to do. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Who gives a shit? I'm just doing random crap. Already gave them government and a swimming pool, so they can fuck off with a spa. I like the way you think. We'll be able to find a city now. Food factory. Okay, this is getting ridiculous. Explain this to me. The hydroponic farm provides 1 food. Yeah, that's all you get. 1 food. The massive fuck off meat plant provides 1 food. The food factory, it's called a factory, also just provides 1 food. What? How is this even possible? Don't tell me what to do. I'll do it my fucking self. We have no ocean level. We have no oxygen. We do have some heat coming in, which is, I guess, better than nothing. Explored locations. Oh, they've stopped complaining about, you know, places not being, or places being too far away. Can I find the city now? Okay, now we have a question, chat. Where do we find our next city? Here? Close to the gigantic titanium deposit? Or here, close to the geothermal spot? I would actually like to find it here. Close to the giant close to the giant titanium deposit. I like the way you think, Abaddon. Great Mon's Outpost. We'll call this Abaddon's Butthole. Yeah, he won't mind. It's all good. Of course, this city has 0 housing. No population whatsoever. Wait, so every... Oh, I've just fucked up my food. Never mind. How did I lose so much power? What the fuck? This is school. Now, school... I can build this school right here. And then build housing on these 4 locations. Because it provides extra happiness for the populations close to it. Which would be good. But I don't have housing to build. Oh, this game is a fucking nightmare. So what exactly was the fucking point of this? It does at least provide 1 science. So that might actually be a good idea. To just... I'm blocking the way to the slot. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And I don't have a power... something that produces power, do I? Nope. The geothermal location would have actually been good, because we could build a geothermal plant, but never mind. This is the next city we find then, so we can build a geothermal plant and get extra electricity going. Composting facility. Luxury workshops. Android hub. This gives extra robots. 3 robots, in fact. This project can only be played once per city. Okay, this would actually be good if you can get enough population within a city. I don't even know if the cities work together. Like, none of this makes any sense to me. Can you remove stuff No, you can replace stuff, but you can't remove it. You see, if I could relocate these two buildings, that'd be so fucking great. Like, literally swap these two buildings, but I think I have a feeling if I try to swap these two buildings, I destroy one of them. Anyways, fuck it. That's Terraformers, boys. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not gonna lie. In my opinion, this might be a game for some people, but it's definitely not my type of game. It's just, I don't know. It really doesn't... Yeah, doesn't jive with me at all. Just doesn't do it for me. Is there anyone that saw this game and thought, yeah, fuck it, I'll play it? Because that makes it a success, no matter what. Because that's the whole point of Indie Night, is to hopefully show you guys some games that you've never played before, you know? Show you some games that you might like. But Aimless, to be honest, I think it needs a better tutorial or something. There's definitely not enough, I would say, explanation to what the game... Like, what the ultimate goal of the game is. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. It's not so much that they don't... So, the basics of the game is pretty easy to grasp, but there are things that isn't necessarily explained. Like, for example, do the cities work together? Do they work apart? Is it possible, for example, to build one city that basically only focuses on food production, another city that only focuses on electrical production, another city that only focuses on population production? These things aren't necessarily laid out in a way that makes sense. So it makes it very difficult to know, like, what goes where. No sense to me having to build a courthouse or something. Yeah, the courthouse apparently provides happiness to the people, but I mean, one courthouse, is that really that provides you happiness? I don't understand. At least with the Anno series, it's usually a supply chain of things that you have to build. So a single courthouse isn't going to do much, but if you have a supply chain of police officers and then a courthouse and stuff, that will provide happiness because, you know, you have a place to put criminals and so on and so forth. But yeah, this one just didn't make sense at all. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go. Remember, tomorrow night we have the Q&A. If you have any questions, if you want to submit questions, now is the time to submit them to Discord. The links should be in the bottom in the panels, or just follow the links on screen right now. Ask your questions in Discord, because tomorrow night at 7 o'clock we'll do Q&A, and then after that we'll do the Patreon podcast. I don't know what this weekend will look like. We might play some video games this weekend. I'm not entirely sure yet. I think I want to play some WoW at some point. I want to do some Mythic Plus at some point. So that's definitely going to be on the agenda. Either this weekend or next week. I have not decided yet. And then we have to play Big Ambitions as well, which is a game that I really want to get back to. So yeah, that's going to be on the list as well. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I really appreciate all of you for coming out, for hanging out, for spending your afternoon, your morning, your evening with me, whatever time it is for you in the day. It's been an absolute pleasure. So as always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, and I will see all of you in the next one. Peace out, fam. Love you guys.